That's it.
5-second burrito went down.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to King of a Nerd Sunday comic book show, Between the Covers, whatever you want to call it. The other show, I have no idea what it is, but I'm joined today by Brian, Master of None, Dix Boy 73. He actually showed up for a show for once.
Hey,
What?
you gotta send me the link. I'll show up.
And we got Joe's Dueling. What's up, guys? How's your freaking Sunday going so far?
Good.
So far, so good.
I work.
Nice, relaxing day.
What is his work you speak of?
I was selling auto parts.
I fixed my dryer.
Is there a guarantee on the box?
Yes. Good old.
Tommy boy.
We have a catchy jingle too.
It feels like I haven't been live on my channel in a while. It really does.
You
I
should.
don't think you have.
Hey, we got you. We got you over 100 views on Friday's show, so that's something.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised, actually. But, you know,
Yeah,
people
she
show up
did
for
well.
bikinis.
They do. People
Yes.
like swimsuits.
People like cartoon boobies.
Hey,
And
That's
trivia.
a fact, Jack.
good stuff. And trivia. Yeah, they really come for the trivia. Don't let them fool you.
Yes. Fix trivia. Fix trivia.
I know
It's
why.
very tricky. I actually I excused the mess behind me. This is my new setup. I just moved, so I haven't had a chance to like organize stuff. And yes, all those boxes stacked up are all CGC boxes. CGC cases.
Excuse the mess behind me. I'm just a fucking slob.
So I actually went to the town/city that I'm in. Actually had their first anime fest today.
How'd that go?
So I decided to go with a friend of mine and a lot of cosplayers.
Ugh.
The typical people you would think will be at a anime fest.
My son, I try to take my youngest to cons, and he hates cosplayers.
There
He's
was
so
about
disturbed by it.
10 dealers there. On the site they advertised comic books. There were no comic books there at all. I was so pissed.
Swords?
No, there was 2 tables with swords,
Always
Knives.
a sword table.
fake guns from video games, and of course you always have the one woman selling pounds of fudge. Like these guys need to eat
What?
fudge.
That
Yeah,
I don't get.
I
It's like
found
some
fudge.
weird anime
Every
thing.
con I've been to up here, there's somebody selling fudge.
No comic books with fudge. That's
No comic books, but fudge. Who wants fudge?
Yeah, I couldn't. I would literally be in and out of that place within 5 minutes. I don't care how much I paid to get
I was
in.
there. I
would
was
be
there
in and out
10
of
minutes.
that.
My friend bought 2 Pokemon keychains, overpriced for $10 each.
Some knockoffs, some knockoff keychains.
Yeah. And then it was like a space setup with a projector with 10 or 15 people sitting, and they're asking anime questions. You play on your phone, and they're like, if your kid answers this question, you need to watch what they watch because this anime is not for children. I'm like, then why ask a question about it in a room full of children?
Yeah, I don't know. It's always weird. There's always so many tables at those that have just all the knockoff stuff. And
Yeah.
ooh, a Pikazard.
Hey.
Sorry.
I went to the big con that Miami Comic Con, and that was all anime. It was like maybe 1 or 2 dealers that had anime.
Yeah.
But they had a few box of comics. It was,
Sometimes those work out well. The off cons, when you go to a non-comic
Yeah, but-
con and you have a comic dealer there or somebody that has a few boxes, you sometimes find some really good stuff. But it sucks to get shut out when you go there and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's no comics here.
Let
maybe
me
they
see.
had boys.
Out of the chat.
I like comics.
Hey, John Hawkler.
Hey,
He's
John.
here for
Welcome in.
every show. Love you guys.
Yeah,
Love
I
you,
noticed.
buddy. We got Ed
What's
LeBeau. Hey, buddy. We got
And,
that dude Vince. What's going on?
hey, Vince. Good seeing you.
Mama Bear, part of the
Mama.
channel. We'll be doing a show tomorrow night. Monday Madness is back. We have learned not to trust Sticks. He is a cop. Yes, I've heard you are narc.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
heard that.
Yep, I'm an arc. I'm an arc.
Hey, Latrell, what's going on? Fudge is too sweet for me. Lord of BK, trouble star, troublemaker, everywhere.
Sorry,
I
Bruce.
am watching. Hey, Cal, prefer sexual chocolate. Dark chocolate, actually. Jesus, Mama Bear.
Starting early.
Starting early. You got any pickups, guys?
I got one thing that came in the mail today.
Right.
Well, yesterday, but I got a little Kickstarter box. I got just some stuff from Steve Rude's Kickstarter. So start off with that nice Superman
Ooh.
print.
Nice.
Nice little sign print. We got Nexus over there on one side. Got his 2024 book if you're a Nexus fan.
Mhm.
I got a sketchbook from 2022 and his 2023 sketchbook and commissions because I'm not going to pass up a good Space Ghost cover. So,
Right.
That's what I got.
Nice.
That's all I got.
You got anything, Six?
Nothing new today. No,
Hmm.
nothing. No mail today.
Well, I showed up a couple of these already, but my Xena 9.6.
Yay, Dave Stevens.
Yay, Dave Stevens. Howard the Duck number 9. Got to see them today.
He's got hot sauce in my eye. Oh, God damn it.
First appearance of Leah Thompson in comics.
There we go.
I see why I'm rubbing my eye.
X-Men 121. 9.6. Newsstand.
You got a nice old label.
Yep. That's being cracked and pressed. And Stick's favorite comic book.
Think you're going to squeeze a 9.8 out of that book?
Maybe. Little
I think it
Marvel.
looked better like see-through.
Ah.
Nah, that's cool.
I picked up Ultimates number 1. Black Panther 3, the second print, 1-25. Yes, I'm the problem.
That's a good bus launcher cover.
Another Ultimates. Amazing Spider-Man. Still collecting at 51 issues in. X-Men 35.
Real heroes don't wear
Batman.
blankets.
148, 49, 48. I picked up another copy of Wonder Woman 96, DCU.
Yay, Boland.
And then I picked up these comics
Brian.
that I needed. The Trinity, little Henry Cavill.
Okay.
Photo covers are always good to have.
Yep.
Those always seem to be sought after years later.
Little Batfleck.
All right.
And Gal Gadot.
There you go. There's the winner.
Wonder
Well-
Woman!
I could show off these books that I found in my box today
Oh,
if you
that'd
want.
be cool. Give me 1 second while I move these and because they're covering my mouse. All right. What'd you get, Sticks?
So I'm going through my boxes, cleaning up the old Stick-Zium here, and I found 4 copies of the first appearance of Captain Carrot.
There you go.
Nice.
Nice.
And a couple.
Nice.
I had a couple full runs of the others, but I had like 4 copies of those.
I still need to organize my books. I have probably 3 short boxes worth of books sitting out that I need to organize and bag and put in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Hate when
we're
I-
going to
hate when I
have
fall
a.
behind.
So we have a great show for you guys tonight. Some comic talk, some books we reviewed, some FOC for you people that like to order FOC, and Flaming 10. And plus, we're going to have a special guest tonight, Palm Beach Comics presser, Ron Moblia. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. I apologize.
He'll correct you if it was wrong.
So let's get this show started. Woohoo! So, what we got up first? Wong will reportedly be building the new Avengers and Captain America: Brave and the Bold.
Interesting
Alright.
choice.
Hmm.
Well, they put him in freaking She-Hulk. They'll put him in anything.
Yeah.
Wongers.
What was the name of the girl he was hanging out with in She-Hulk? I forgot her name.
Oh gosh, darn it! She was something with a Y, but it's not where you think.
Tiffany or
Yeah, I think so.
I
I
hope
thought
they
that was
don't just put him in.
hilarious, dude.
I just hope they don't put him in just for comic relief.
Yeah, because that's the problem.
'Cause-
They've kind of turned Wong into a punchline.
Yeah.
Because he is the Sorcerer Supreme now, isn't he? And
Yeah, but they made him like the comic relief in terms, and like even in Doctor Strange, like he was the one.
He's the Grogu of the Avengers now.
Right. He was the jobber that took the bumps, not Doctor Strange.
yeah, Madison. Madison was
Madison.
There you go.
Madison with a Y.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not
Yeah,
where you think.
Madison with a Y, not where you think.
She's gonna be the first Avenger he recruits.
Oh God, it's hilarious.
Wong is funny, but he does have some kick-ass scenes. He does.
I like Wong, but I don't like when he's only used as some type of comic relief. That bothers me. He's a Sorcerer Supreme. He should have a bigger role.
Well, then like Doctor Strange is making fun of him when he is the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like, no, dude, you shouldn't let him be the butt of the jokes. It's messed up. Like, that's the one thing I agree with that. Like, I don't like Wong as a punchline. He's not a joke.
Yeah, I mean, he can be funny. That's fine. Thor can be funny. That's fine.
Yeah,
but I don't like when.
But how they portrayed him in the first one, though, like, completely different. Like, he was very.
They pulled a Thor. They pulled a Thor.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I hate what they did to Thor.
Oh, they made him the party boy. So, like that what if came to life.
These Avengers will be a Wong move.
All I'll say about that, the last movie is that it was a Thor movie was a
Thor.
grievous use of, well,
Victory Royales.
The grievous use of Guns and Roses. Oh,
it was too much.
Yeah, come on. And unless you're building a supernatural Avengers, why would Wong be the one putting together the Avengers?
Right, and why not have what's his face, Shang-Chi? What the hell? Make that movie. Don't follow up on it, bastards. Wong came out at the end of that movie too.
I mean, if you want to cement a Captain America style role as Captain America for Falcap, then he should be the one putting together the table.
I don't know. I think Wong has fought beside most of the remaining heroes left in the MCU, right? The ones that are left that haven't left or died or stuck in time somewhere.
Thor's still around. Guardians of the Galaxy are still around. Captain Marvel's still around, right?
Yeah, I guess they could throw
there's quite a bit.
What's his name from Guardians in it? He's going back to Earth.
Chris Pratt's going back to Earth.
Yeah, Star-Lord. Juan is the new Nick Fury.
I mean, face it, you're gonna get She-Hulk, Falcap,
Daredevil.
Maybe Daredevil if they want to bring him into that. I think it'd be silly. I think if they brought Moon Knight and them in, but they probably
Bloodstone or whatever the hell from.
And that's supernatural, and that doesn't make any sense bringing in it.
Yeah,
I don't know. For Avengers, I don't know.
I would so watch that movie, Wong Fury.
I mean, I guess if they're doing the Wonder Man project, Wonder Man.
Got
to put the thing in there.
You still got Carol Danvers.
Yeah, but she only shows up when it's like, oh, we need somebody super to be able to do things that we can't, and then she shows up.
Somebody to take down his ship. All right. Punch Thanos in the face. All right, bye.
I mean,
that's not true. They got a good pose in there. Yeah.
I mean, and I guess
all the ladies.
Maybe if you put War Machine in there, I guess. I'm just trying to think who they would.
He's still a thing.
I can't stand War Machine. Well, he's getting his own movie.
I forgot all about him.
What is it, Iron Wars or whatever?
I stopped caring about Rhodey when he stopped being Terrence Howard.
Yeah. They are creating a multiversal Avengers and Wong is the only one to reach them. Oh, that would make sense, actually. Well, BK actually said something interesting for once.
Well, you're probably going to get America Chavez, I imagine.
That should be because the rumor is that they're working on a
Avengers.
Young Avengers project for 2025 or 2026. And for that, you would have Chavez, you would have Ant-Man's kid,
Kate Bishop,
Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel,
the new Black Widow,
Wiccan and Speed,
Speed,
Florence Pugh's Black Widow.
No one from Black Widow.
Nah, she'll stay in Thunderbolts. They'll probably keep her in Thunderbolts and then just show up randomly. It'll be the Young Avengers one will be mostly younger actors that they can put out a young adult style movie for that audience.
Oh, BK,
they're still around and not aged out.
True.
BK, you have an open invitation to the panel if you want to come on, BK.
Wow.
And I don't. Do I want a multiversal Avengers? Who are they going to pull out of the multiverse? Who are you going to? The
X-Men, the Fantastic Four.
I think the X-Men's not going to be till the last Avengers movie.
I think we're going to get it in a month.
What, the casting for X-Men?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to get a multiversal movie here in a month.
I hate multiverses. I hate time travel.
But it's Deadpool and Wolverine, though, man.
I
Deadpool and Avengers.
It's such a cheap reboot concept. It's a multiverse, or we time traveled. Now everything's different.
Hey, Sin Havoc, what's going on, buddy? Everyone, all the Marvel characters, everyone is an Avenger. They got to pull it from somewhere. All right, next up. Disney live action hybrid reimagining. It's not a remake. It's a reimagining of Aristocats. It's reportedly and still in development.
No, yeah. You can call it a reimagining if they call it something other than Disney's The Aristocats. Because that's what they'll do. They'll be like, Disney, The Aristocrats, and people will be like, oh, it's a kind of live action-y version of the animated. And they're like, no, it's a reimagining. But they will still play off all of the nostalgia of the original, and then people get pissed off.
Cats all over again.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
CGI buttholes for the cats.
No, I'll skip this and watch Cats Don't Dance again with Scott Bakula.
I mean, I understand they do these all for cash grabs, and they make money.
Yeah,
they all make money, no matter how good or bad they may be. They'll make money. People go take their kids because the parents will be like, oh, I remember the Aristocats when I was a kid, and they'll take it there and they'll be like, what the hell is this shit? And but the kids will enjoy it, and that's all that matters. So.
Unless it's going to be Aristocats, some kind of feral mock-up, I don't want to watch this.
And I don't fear change. I don't like when they try to sell it as one thing and deliver you something else. I mean, I'm kind of used to it now with these remakes, so it's no big deal. I don't really care. I didn't care about the original. I don't really care about the remake, but
if
you want to get all up in arms over it, so just be more honest about what you're doing with it.
Right. If you want to do something that deserves a sequel, Rescuers. You can do something with Rescuers.
Ooh, I do like the Rescuers.
I mean,
Rescue with Down
anything's
Under.
better than this schlop. I'm not a big fan of Aristocats. No. It's not my favorite Disney movie.
Not mine.
I'd rather watch The Great Mouse Detective too than this.
I still want a remake, a real remake of Return to Witch Mountain, not with The Rock.
The Eddie Arnold one is the better.
I'm just happy. I mean, truthfully, they probably make just as much money just re-releasing the originals in theaters. Because they wouldn't cost them anything to do it.
True.
Yeah. They could just put them out there and spend a little bit in marketing, and you'd get probably a little less in box office, but people would still go see it.
Yeah. These movies all have every, obviously every few years it's a 35th anniversary of this or 50th anniversary of that.
But I mean, they've basically remade almost everything to this point, and they will go through their full catalog. That's their MO with these movies. Take these successful animated projects and movies, make them this either live action or this weird VFX weirdness, and repackage it a bit and rebrand it for the 21st century and spit it out.
Yeah,
I saw Lady and the Tramp. It was different.
Yep. All right, next up, Lanterns designed to shoot in the first quarter of 2025 in the UK. DC Studios looking for Hal Jordan between 43 and 49 years old, and a Jon Stewart between 27 and 35 years old.
I could be Hal Jordan.
I'm excited for this series. I want to see.
Me too.
Yeah,
I want to see a series. I mean, based on how they explained the series is supposed to be more like a detective type story.
Everybody loves buddy cops.
Yep.
Buddy cop movies.
Yeah, as long as Hal Jordan punches the life out of Guy Gardner, I'll be all right.
Guy Gardner deserves to be punched.
Yeah. Not just for that bowl
they
cut.
don't use him in many stories.
Especially for that bowl cut. What are you talking about?
They really haven't used him much in many stories in DC in a long time, actually.
Guy Gardner?
I thought he was getting a new series.
I haven't kept up. I haven't kept up with the Green Lantern itself for quite a while. So I don't know. I'm excited about this.
Yeah, this will be good.
Yeah, this will be good. I'm very excited. I love Green Lanterns. The current Green Lantern books are really good, really well written. And Jon Stewart, that Green Lantern War Journal, just killing it with story and covers.
Yeah, I like Jon Stewart. It's my favorite Lantern.
Hey Bruce, I'll be back. I'm gonna go check something real quick.
All right.
Thanks.
Next up, Sean Levy is in the early talks to direct the next Avengers movie. Marvel plans to meet with other directors while they wait on a decision from him.
Is Sean Levy just a time-traveled Timothée Chalamet?
He does look like Timothée Chalamet.
Just asking.
He's I don't know. They could. Are they going through a list of actors? I mean, directors.
I don't know. I'm my over/under is 3 script revisions and 2 more director changes before they actually do something. I really can't seem to get their ducks in a row.
I don't know what's going on with the Avengers, Blade. What else?
I don't understand. The writers had a strike. They have more writers in a room than you've ever had in your whole life, and you have to have them all in there. You have to have all these people. And you're telling me you can't put out a palatable screenplay for a Blade movie?
It's not that.
I'm Blade. I kill vampires. Here's a vampire. I kill the vampires. End.
Unless you're gonna make all the vampires sparkle.
This is what you need to do right here. Curse of the Mutants.
Curse of the Mutants was amazing.
Just
great series.
Bring back Parker Posey as a vampire, and I'm in.
It has Dracula in it, and you don't need to do much more with it, really.
Yep.
Put Blade in the X-Men universe, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. But I just don't understand. They had such a good run with so many writers. Not saying that the writing in MCU was like Oscar worthy, but it was passable.
They had a story arc. They had a plotted out, clear story arc of we're starting here with this. We're bringing the teams together. You're getting your kind of Civil War and Endgame type of arcs to the end point. And then I don't think they planned on what to do next. And I don't think they've really truly settled on anything. I think they briefly did, but then the whole Kang thing kind of blew up in their face.
Yeah. You know, they should have known that all these actors were leaving after Endgame, and they should have had things freaking planned out for the next 10 years. That's what they did after the success of Iron Man.
These properties, there's no excuse not to have something mapped out. You have more source material for superhero movies and Star Wars type movies and stuff. You have more source material that sits out there to draw from than any other type of IPs. There's no excuse. You know, you don't have to copy it, but just like they didn't copy it for the first 20 movies, you can definitely pull from source material enough to have a coherent story arc go through. So,
yeah, there was sprinklings of stuff in there that we knew from the books, but they didn't have to do the whole arc.
I think their biggest problem is, one, they can't do what they did the first time because you can't tie every movie dependent on every other movie. Because number one, the pandemic screwed everything over, and I think they're scared of any type of strike or pandemic or something that stops production, screws everything up because your movies have to be basically in order. Because that's the way the story was revealed. So they don't want to do that, but they still want to have some big overarching story arc. And I'm sorry anymore, you're not going to have those smaller. You don't have, Civil War going to be able to carry an Ant-Man over the finish line and make it a $300 million, $400 million movie. You're just not. People aren't coming to the theater like that anymore. So.
No, I agree.
So I just don't think they know what they want to do.
It's true.
Which is stupid. All they had to do, they didn't even have to continue with the. I don't even get. Truthfully, I've never cared about the Avengers. I don't care about the Avengers when they're making the movies. I don't care about the Avengers now. I never cared about the Avengers comic book. I could care less. All I want is the X-Men. That's all they got to do. They could can the Avengers, Young Avengers, I don't care. Give me the X-Men and all will be right in the world. That's all they have to do.
The only Avengers storylines that I cared about was the Korvac storyline, the Kree Skrull War, and Disassemble. Disassemble was amazing.
I just never cared about most of those characters. I just didn't. And if I did, I would read the solo titles.
Yeah. Next up, Kate McKinnon and Andy Samberg join Water Roses remake at Searchlight.
What?
I love that. I love Water Roses.
I love the original. Yes,
the original.
I don't like this. I do.
I'm a big fan of Kate McKinnon. Andy Samberg, not so much. You see, he just feels like a knockoff Adam Sandler to me.
No, I don't mind Samberg that much. He makes me laugh at times. I just don't. I don't understand this pairing. I find Kate McKinnon funny, but doesn't that seem like an odd casting?
Not if you're putting him in the Danny DeVito role.
Ooh. Yeah.
See, I was picturing him more in the.
I don't picture him in the Douglas part at all.
I personally don't really see him there either, but the Danny DeVito role is too good. You got to have somebody really good for that. Yeah, I mean, the original, like, certain things just don't need to be remade. It's this is one of them. You can't. I mean, because you had Romancing the Stone and Jewel and you had that Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas chemistry.
Okay. Yeah.
And Danny DeVito, because of course Danny DeVito was in Romancing the Stone as well.
Right.
The three of them together was just good. There was a chemistry there. I don't understand how you recreate that in good way with a remake of this.
War of the Roses was a movie about a couple that were getting a divorce and they hated each other's guts and they were trying to kill each other throughout the whole movie. Yes. The old Kathleen Turner movie. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
I love Kathleen Turner.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of my favorite actresses. Actors.
Actor.
I'll remake Throw Mama with Tom Cruise as Mama because of the train stunts.
I mean, the problem is you have to have two characters that have sexual chemistry.
Yeah.
To remake War of the Roses, because that's the fun of it. Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner had that sexual chemistry through multiple movies, so it worked to see them go from it was believable that they once were in love, and
people saw them as a pair because of their movies.
Yeah, and then for them to break up, that's what made it fun and more believable. But you just take two randos and be like, well, they're going to pretend they're married. No, it just don't work for me.
Yeah.
You don't have a cousin, Patty.
Now, if you put like Kate Beckinsale and Pete Davidson in this, let's do that.
Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson.
What?
Kate Beckinsale.
God. How about Gal Gadot and Henry Cavill, War of the Roses?
Hey, I never liked Pete Davidson. I never understood the appeal of Pete Davidson, but that series that he did, Bupkis, was phenomenal. It was a great series. And there was some fantastic Joe Pesci in that series as well.
That's the one about him and his family, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like him in small roles. I like he had like a
not John Cusack. John Cusack had jumped the shark acting a long time ago. Now, Joan Cusack, Kate Beckinsale and Joan Cusack in War of the Roses. That would be fun. Joan Cusack is the Danny DeVito role. That would be perfect.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. This remake, I don't know. I was going to do. I like Kate McKinnon. She's funny. She does great characters, but I don't know.
Again, I don't see her as you have to have a couple that is believable that they were a couple. I don't buy her being a couple with anybody.
And War of the Roses isn't a comedy, and it shouldn't be a comedy.
She is always always the funny outsider in movies. The weird, funny outside character. So I don't know. It just seems weird to me as a casting. But
I think Powell Sweeney are remaking a Chase on classic. Foul Play, or it seems like old times.
Ooh.
Why not both?
I mean, the problem is Sweeney cannot carry Goldie Hawn's bra. I love Sydney. Don't get me wrong, but she's no Goldie Hawn. Goldie Hawn is a treasure.
I think she has a bit. I think she's being pushed too much, and she has to work more on her acting and her
versus a lot of things. She was good in I liked her in Euphoria. I thought she was very good in Euphoria.
She was great in Euphoria.
I liked her in White Lotus. Not that took too much acting ability in the first season of White Lotus, but
could it be that maybe this is the way they're directing her to act, and it's just coming off as bad acting?
No.
McKinnon as a lawyer.
If you put McKinnon in the Danny DeVito role, I think that would be the smartest casting. I could see her in that role.
Yeah, she did play the rejected Barbie. She's great in that role.
I enjoy her. It's just like if I'm looking at these two and I'm thinking, Kathleen Turner and Michael Douglas, that's what's throwing me off. If she plays the Danny DeVito role, I think that's great casting. That's fun.
Yeah. What other 90s movies with a couple would you like to see them remake?
None.
Romance of the Stone?
No, I don't want to see those. Those movies are perfect the way they are. With all the flaws they might have.
Moonlighting.
There's no reason to just come up with something new. It's not hard to come up with new stories. Again, How many writers do you have to have in a room now based on this strike? Put them in a room and have them come up with something original. I'm so tired of we need 15 writers in a room. Let's take this property that nobody gave a shit about 20 years ago and reboot it. No.
Lazy.
Sorry. You want that many writers, go do work.
Never been kissed. Son-in-law.
Son-in-law. Encino Man? How about Encino Man? I know there's no married couple in there, but why not?
I would like to see a better Alan Quartermain.
That's not hard because all you have to do is remake the movie and it would be better.
I like the one with Chamberlain.
I bet you $1 million they're going to remake Pretty Woman in like 10 to 15 years.
And it's just like, why? And they will. They will try it.
Yeah. Instead of her being a prostitute, she will be
she'll be in
OnlyFans model.
Yeah,
OnlyFans model.
Oh God, it's just awful.
The only thing people don't get up in arms about when they do remakes is when they do it for like Broadway, make them into plays and such.
Yeah.
No one ever says anything about that, but when they start talking about movies, everyone gets up in arms.
Except for Cats, that was an abomination.
That has such a star-studded lineup, and it's amazing how bad that movie was.
What was the Ricky Gervais? What was the Ricky Gervais line about? Oh God, what's the guy's name that had the late night show? James Corden. He's like, James Corden finally gets to play a fat pussy in the movie Cats, and he also gets to play a cat.
I was legit typing that OnlyFans show. Oh yeah, I don't know. Would they dare do a woman as a prostitute in a movie now?
Why? It's liberating now. I mean, see, that's the problem. That's if you remade that movie with that person as a prostitute, it doesn't make sense because most of the movie is the fact that she's looked down upon because she's a call girl. But in this day and age, people don't care as much. So it doesn't have the stigma that, it still has a stigma, but not the type of stigma that it had when that movie was made.
Social stigma.
Yeah.
It would have to be in a different city. It couldn't be in New York, actually.
That could take place. Yeah, that could take place anywhere.
Yeah.
Do they have to have Virginia?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish they would. I know it's easy because that's all we get is remakes of stuff, and that's all people want is old IPs and all that in the theater. But I don't know. Movies can be made cheaply.
Well,
movies like that, romantic comedy stuff like it. You can make those movies cheaply. Everything doesn't have to be filmed on the green screen. Did you see that horrible picture that was floating around Twitter of Samuel L. Jackson?
No. What was it?
So it's him as Nick Fury, and he's sitting there, and everything is green screen. He's just sitting in a damn room. It's a scene in an apartment where he's sitting there with a gun like this, and everything, including the gun in his hand, was VFX'd. And the only thing that was real was the chair he was sitting in, and I was like, "Why? You telling me you have to film all that crap on a green screen? That's just it's horrible to me. Just go film a goddamn movie on a set."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All this using green screen is out of control. On location works.
Even still, it's just awful.
Practical.
I mean, you want to give people jobs. I mean, those guys have built sets and stuff like that. There's carpenters and stuff like that. Go back to old Hollywood where they actually built stuff and did stuff and had the decent sets and stuff like that.
They don't want to pay the price of wood nowadays.
Yeah.
True.
I see Degrassi's clearing up. They had to do it because it was a retake.
That was for a reshoot. They had to film the retake on a green screen.
Okay.
Can they do Pretty Woman in today's climate?
Yeah, somebody would bitch, but no, you would have to totally weird it up in some way. Just like, I mean, I'm sure it would go over about as well as the remake of Overboard, which was an abomination.
Make it
remade
about
Overboard?
Yeah, they remade Overboard. That's how good it was that you didn't even know it happened.
Is that the one with Cuba Gooding Jr.?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
no.
Had,
You can make it about two people who meet over Craigslist connections.
yes.
God, Craigslist. Misconnection.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if they didn't gender swap it and they had some gigolo as an escort, and
I can see that.
and they put the woman in there.
Who was in the remake of Overboard?
It was that guy that's in that. Is it an Apple series, Acapulco or whatever? That guy, he showed up in a handful of things off and on. It was bad.
I mean, it was almost shot for shot. And then what's her name there from? Ann Faris.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Anna Faris? Really?
Anna Faris and Eugenio Derbez.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's just stop. It's just, you could do new things. You can even reuse. I mean, Jesus, all you have to do is look at a basic story arc. They're all relatively similar. You build a story around, there's 10 or 15 of them. You can easily build a story around any of those heroes' journeys and make a movie that's not, an 80s property.
Yeah. So, next up, who reads comics? We decided to review some comics. Scarlet #1 came out. This whole Energon universe.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Like all of these, they have all followed pretty much the same kind of feel. Some type of fun fight sequence, introducing the characters, and then a reveal for a character right at the end. And they stayed on track with that.
Yeah. I really like the artwork and this whole thing with her, Scarlet and Jinx. That was new.
Yeah. Huh. Made sense. I mean, it made sense for that tie, and I liked it. It was decent. It's a good opening book to set the stage for this.
Yep.
And then, of course, you also got the little Destro preview as well, which was nice.
Yeah, and I thought it was pretty good, and the action scenes were pretty good.
If there's scenes, if there's scenes with ninjas, I'm like, okay, I'm cool, I'm happy.
Yeah, so it's definitely a good book to pick up if you want to continue reading about the Joes, and I think this is the start of how they're going to form the team.
Yeah, because this is this and Destro are the last two solo titles that they're doing before they, I guess, pull something together officially. So,
all right, we're gonna pause this right here. We're gonna bring on a special guest tonight from Palm Beach Presser, Ron Mobili.
Close. Mobilia. Good evening.
Mobilia.
Good to have you on.
Nice.
Good to have you on.
Thank you.
Welcome on.
I guess you guys don't now speak Italian, huh?
That's about all I got.
My in-laws do. I do not. My in-laws are from Campania.
Very good. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
This is my first live appearance on camera. So,
oh, nice.
Hopefully it's not your last.
I hope not.
Break you in good.
In case people in the audience don't know what comic book pressing is, could you explain to them, Ron?
Absolutely. Well, I would imagine your audience is probably very familiar, but It's basically beautifying comics. Comics get worn very quickly, just opening, closing, bends, spine ticks, you name it. So if you're looking to make your comics look as good as they possibly can, usually right before people get them graded or when they're trying to sell them, it's kind of a standard practice now to make them as nice as they possibly can. And it's amazing how much you can improve a book by pressing and cleaning it as well if they're much older.
Yeah, because the longer books lay around, the more dirt and dust they collect. You may not
Absolutely.
see it with the naked eye, but it's there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, back in the day, color touch and restoration itself used to be a thing. It used to be acceptable, and then that went away,
Yep.
and pressing has basically taken its place.
Yeah, it's pretty much become the standard. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no sending comics to CGC without pressing them now.
Yeah, if it's worth grading, it's probably worth the small investment in pressing it to make sure you're getting the best possible grade. Even those books that look like 9/8 are not always the 9/8 you expect, just due to some little bend or some minor annoyance. So if you're not real familiar with how to identify the grade of a book, it's certainly worthwhile. And your mid-grade books can turn into high-grade books very easily with that kind of service. Absolutely.
So how long have you been pressing for?
That's a great question. I got back into this hobby during the pandemic early on as well.
Like
I
many of us.
started, like
Yeah.
many of us, rebrought my childhood back from, buying comics and reading comics regularly. During the pandemic, my wife said, "Hey, can we get rid of this two boxes of books that I've been carrying around since the 80s and then again in the 90s?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me see what they were," and kind of learned and what the value was, learned about the grading that was going on at the time, and decided to give it a shot. So my history, I decided at that time when the pandemic hit, I retired as well. At least I thought I was retiring, and did a lot more love of the comics. I started buying and selling, keys from the 90s mostly, and grading them, uh, and uh, and flipping them. And that quickly, I mean, after doing several thousand books, thinking I would never do anybody
Oh
else's
wow.
books, it's too risky. I decided to do a few friends. They told some friends. They told some friends. Next thing you know, I got, much more comfortable with what I
Now you're
was
not
doing.
retired anymore.
I am no longer retired, actually. I don't think I've taken a day off since December of last year, except for little weekend trips that my wife takes me on. So yeah, it's a 7-day-a-week job to kind of keep up with the workload at this point. So yeah, and I run 6 presses now. I get done
Nice.
about 150 books a week or so, I'd say on average, maybe a little more, a little less. And yeah, it definitely keeps me busy. So I've done tens of thousands now.
How do you get your humidity into your books? Because I always like to hear people's homemade rigs for for getting a little moisture in there.
Wow, you want all my secrets, huh? You're asking for all the secrets.
Just one or two.
I mostly steam the books. That seems to be my preferred method. It allows the moisture to occur a lot more quickly than humidity chambers, etc.
Yeah.
And you can really focus it a little more on the areas you want to work on. So that's my preferred method, is steaming them.
Have you had the joy? I've seen some of the books you pressed, so I know you've had the joy of dealing with Golden Age books as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk about a little bit of the differences between what it takes to deal with a Golden Age book versus a modern, in terms of some of the work that goes into that. So I don't think people understand how different it is with the Golden Age book. And
it is. It's Golden Age books right off the bat. They're much more brittle due to their age, so they're a lot more fragile. Just opening covers, trying to open, just trying to work on books. The risks are so much higher. The paper's brittle sometimes, overly soft other times, and it's very thin usually due to wear. So it definitely takes a lot more caution, a lot more precision, a lot more gentle handling. And the processes are generally the same, but not quite exactly. I find the easiest books to work on to be books from the 70s and 80s. They're very consistent. The
Mhm.
paper is very consistent between, from, whether it's Marvel, DC, etc. You get into the 90s, you start dealing with different types of cover material, different types of interior paper, and it's only gotten worse since then. Whether it's the
Well, you have so
the
many
thicker
publishers now.
bunny-eared, yeah, so many publishers, and some of them are very difficult to work on. Sometimes that ink is just not as durable as you would expect it to be, and that's comes with experience. Learning what you can and can't do with certain publishers' books, certain types of covers. It's definitely a learning experience. So
I know.
it's
I know for me as a amateur presser,
yeah,
foil is the bane of my existence, and so square bounds.
really
And yes, I hate pressing square bounds. So
okay.
how do you is pressing square bounds and normal size comics and
Sure.
independence all the same, or you do different methods?
No, you have to use different methods. First of all, some foils, they're not going to take moisture. Sometimes they will from the back of the covers, but it's basically just going to leave water on the covers a lot of time. And you don't get tremendous amounts of improvement from foil books. Once they get a hard crease, or what I tend to call a vein, a change in the texture,
Mhm.
that's permanent. You could smooth out the way the light facets off it. You could try to make it a little more presentable, but you'll never get that 9/8 at that point once that damage exists. Square bounds are a little more challenging because you can't press them too hard because you will smush that spine. The older books have staples that protrude into the covers as well. So it's a mixture. It's usually a multiple press procedure to really get the best results on a square bound, especially an older square bound, because you need to provide a sufficient amount of pressure. You need to support that front cover a little more, but a lot of times you'll have cardboard under it, but that's going to leave a new crease line. So you have to then remove the damage you did trying to press out those rolled edges, etc. So most of the books that I press get multiple presses. It really will depend, sometimes two, three, four, depending on what it takes to get the maximum improvement out of an indent or a soft crease line. Some of those things continue to improve the more you work a book. Other times you reach the maximum improvement fairly quickly. It really does depend on the book in question. And the newer square bounds don't tend to have those staples, but heating
just
them
a lot
up
of
will
glue.
cause glue to leak out. There's other issues you got to worry about. So it really, every book is a little bit different, and you tend to know from seeing the same book over and over what you can do and what you can't do with that book.
What's been the hardest book you've had to work
Great
with?
question.
I always like the horror stories.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think the worst book out there to press, very honestly, that I've run into is most books that have inserts tend to be problems. I think one of the worst out there is that Web of Spider-Man 118. It's one of the
Ooh.
Scarlet Spider titles. It has an insert right inside the front cover. It has another one
in the back.
deeper in the book as well. So there's two inserts. The cover is very thin, cheap paper, even though it was a 90s book. It tends to get spine splits very easily. It's just it's not a book that is very friendly to pressing. Wolverine
one with
88's
the-
another one that could be troublesome, but nowhere near like 118.
That's got the trading cards in it, right? That's got the Hero Quest
Uh,
trading cards.
No, there's no actual trading card, but there's two different short inserts. Unfortunately, I didn't bring one out with me, but
Yeah.
they are.
I know there was a web that had the two Hero Quest
I
Spider-Man
don't know
cards
if
in
I've
it.
seen that one. I honestly don't
Yeah.
recall seeing.
I don't remember what
those
number
in
it
there.
was, but yeah, okay.
We got Dave C. He says, Olaron does great job. I want his customer. He has done many books for me. I'm one of his customers.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Dave.
No, thanks for coming, Dave. I posted on Instagram I was going to be on here tonight for my camera debut. A lot of my customers have no idea who they're sending their books
What
to.
you like? There you go.
There you go. Here I am.
What type of services do you offer for new customers and customers?
Absolutely. I try to focus on, they say you can't have a good, cheap, and fast. I try to do all three. I had outstanding customer service. I communicate with my customers. So I'm trying to do all of it. And I am offering two services that, as far as I know, other pressers don't offer. One of them is free. And that is I give a grade on books before I send them back to the customers. I'm not guaranteeing that this is the grade, but I give you my opinion on what I think CGC is going to grade the book at. I think I'm really accurate above 8.5 or so, a little less so in those middle ranges because there's a lot more subjectivity. But I think when people send their books to a presser and then they want that presser to send them to CGC, they should get a feeling before they spend that extra money to understand what they're likely to get and make that final choice. Should I send that book off? Am I going to be happy if I get a 9.0 or whatever the grade is? So that's one thing, and I'm surprised more pressers don't do it. It does take time to look at each book that carefully, but I do look at all the books that carefully to make sure they've reached their maximum improvement. So it's just a matter of putting in my notes on the invoice basically for each book. So it doesn't take that much more time. And an optional service that I recently started offering is pre-screening of the books. So it's optional. I charge $2.50 for this. But before I even press a book, a lot of new customers don't know what can be expected from pressing. They don't, some people think you can press out everything and make it a 9.8. Others aren't really sure if certain things can be improved. So I'll look at a book ahead of time. I'll give it a current grade. I'll give it a probable potential grade and list out the defects that can and can't be fixed. And then they can make that decision on if they even want me to move forward or just put it in the pile to send back to them. A lot of my customers are taking advantage of that now. I don't know of other pressers that are offering that, but it does take time and it slows down the process a little bit because you do have to, look at each book. I have to type up a little bit of information. I have to and I found that to be helpful because a lot of times customers will send you, especially new customers. I don't know their experience with pressing. They might send me a book that I go, why did they send me this book? Maybe it's sentimental value and they haven't, they want that book pressed. They don't care that you can get a better one for less money than what it's going to cost to press it. But most of the time, I look at it and go, all right, I don't know the value of every book, but, usually if I see a book I haven't seen before, I go, okay, should I really be doing this book? And, it takes time to reach out to the customer and say, hey, this isn't going to get the 9.8. You sure you want to do that? So
that was going to be one of my questions. I mean, with the pre-screen, would you then take it upon to say, to reject that book to do pressing and cleaning?
Correct.
To say, that's.
You're absolutely correct. $2.50. You can have me press it. You can tell me to send it back. There's no additional cost other than the shipping fees at that point. So if they don't want it, I don't want unhappy customers. I don't want a customer getting a book back with a grade that they're not expecting. Who wants to invest that $25 on a book that it's going to get the 9.4 and they're really looking for the 9.8? Or even worse, and the inverse works as well. Sometimes you get that Batman Killing Joke book. There's not a whole lot you can do with that book to press. Sometimes it looks perfect, and you look and go, okay, do I, this square bound book with the super shiny cover, do we really want to press this? It's a 9.8 now. I mean, are you looking just for confirmation that this is as good as it could be, or do you? A lot of people just want the if it's worth pressing, I mean, if it's worth grading, it's worth pressing. So they want to throw that press on it, even if it is close to perfect. And I understand that. I mean, that's what I was doing when I was sending my books in. Whether it looked good or not, I would make sure it was as good as it could be.
No, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, how many older Marvel books do you get to press that you look through and realize that they're missing a Marvel value stamp?
I just recently, that's one of the hard things to remember to do, to be honest with you. I just recently made it more cognizant and I don't know exactly when they stopped doing them, but just recently I became much more cognizant of that. And I do look now in most of those books from the 70s, but it hadn't been a habit prior to that. And unfortunately, I don't really count the pages. I probably should, but I spent so much time focused on covers.
With Golden Age, that's more of an issue than anything else. But
I just finished this one for a customer. You guys probably know that book.
Let me
it has the Marvel value stamp. Unusual book because of the ink on it is very. I think it's a manufacturing error. there's a lot of yellow in that particular red area.
Oh wow.
As well as on Hulk's pants. I don't know if you could see that real well, but
Yeah.
there's some blue bleeding through. So I think it's probably, I don't know if they're going to forgive that as a manufacturing error, but I'm hoping they do for this customer. So, and I think that's finishing up around a 6.0.
Nice.
A lot of the extra ink stuff is the publisher and the so.
Yeah, I never saw the Hulk 181 have that much yellow in the red though. So it kind of looks like it was smeared when it was wet or something, or it was in the beginning of the run or something, possibly when they didn't quite get the inks down yet. So we'll see how much CGC hits that for. But it's a real nice copy otherwise.
Are there any services that you don't offer as a presser?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'll only do what I feel I am skilled at doing. I'm not wet cleaning books. I'm not doing restoration removal. I leave that to the guys that have 10, 20 years experience. I think that's the better. If you have a book that needs those type of deacidification or wet cleaning, you're probably better off going to somebody that will take that book apart. And, you know, if it's worth spending that kind of money on, there are pressers out there that have a lot more experience with that. So I don't have the capacity to spend that much time or the skill at this point in time. Maybe some point in the future, but right now, send those Fantastic Four ones and X-Men ones to the guys out there that have the big websites that show up at the top of the search page.
Yeah, that is a skill unto itself. To do that kind of work. That's
wet cleaning. What is that?
Yeah, I see the comment. Yeah, there are some pressers out there that they will take a book apart. They will remove the staples. They will soak the pages. They will try to whiten them and lighten them. It tends to be quite pricey, but you know, it's probably worth it on your Spider-Man ones and Amazing Fantasy 15s if you have a book that can benefit from that. The dry cleaning services I do may lighten foxing. It's not going to remove it. There are some presses out there that claim they have removed foxing. You know, I don't know how valid of a claim that is, but you could certainly lighten up quite a bit and possibly stunt the growth. I don't offer blue light treatment at this point in time, but I've been dabbling with it, but it's not a service that I feel. I'm only going to do what I feel I am competent in doing, and I know I could safely do. Just because, you know, the comics are worth professional hands, and I'm only going to do what I'm professional at this point.
What are the turnaround times and pricing for your different services?
Great. Yeah, like I said, I try to offer it all. You know, I communicate with my customers when I get their books in. Within 24 hours, they get a text from me or an email letting them know I've received the books. My pricing structure, I kind of followed what every other presser does because I didn't want to confuse the market. But right now, modern books I charge $13 for, and there's a $5 up fee for books that are valued over $750 at a CGC 9.8. So for that particular issue, so I don't get into the, you know, your book is probably only a 9.4, so it's going to be less. It's issue based. So it's the quickest and easiest way to do that. Vintage books are $18 with the same $5 charge for over $750, and that's the primary price structure. Turnaround time, you know, there's only so much I can control. Great service, I can control good pricing. Turnaround time, I do my best to control. Like I say, I haven't been taking days off. I've been managing to maintain a 7 to 10 day turnaround time. But I hope to be able to continue to do that. But that's the one thing that's not totally in my control because there's only so many hours in a day. So, but at this time, I am at about a 7 to 10 day turnaround as well.
That's great.
Which I don't know of other pressers that are doing that at this time. And I've been pulling that off for about a year.
Do you have any plans of doing CGC submissions from your spot, because you're right there?
Yep, absolutely. I do send right to CGC if the customer wants that. I don't have a dealer account with CGC at this time, so I ask the customers to complete the CGC order, and they email me the packing slip, and I ship directly from here. Priority mail, double boxed, bubble wrapped. I could send about 12 books for under $12 for the most part to CGC, and they've
That's
received
good,
them in 2 to
because
3
I know
days.
that's always a fear of, oh, I just got this book pressed, but then it has to come back to me, and then I got to package it up, and then I got to send it to CGC. And is it gonna, is it gonna expand out a little more? Is it,
yeah. And with them,
so you can go through a hurricane on the way there. Who knows?
They give their return address. CGC ships directly back to them. If there's any mechanical errors, I'm not involved in as the middleman in the process. They deal directly with CGC, as which they sent it directly to them. Just comes from my address, and it's 300 miles from me, so it's a closer priority mail zone. But yes, I'd say about 80% of my books probably go directly to CGC. Yep. Yeah, correct. You know where Palm Beach is.
I
was like, hey, how do you know where I live?
Family live with it.
That's
what is one of your greatest successes on pressing and cleaning a book?
That's a really excellent question. I've had some outstanding successes, usually on CPR, cracking books out of cases. I've had a ASM 300 newsstand edition come to me as a 9.2 that was cracked. Came back a 9.8, which was thrilling. Yeah, that was a big one. That was last October. So he probably increased the value of that book 8-fold. I recently had another customer who sent me a Star Wars 1 newsstand edition that had a 9.6. I thought I sent it to me in the case, sent me some photos ahead of time. I really tried to caution him not to crack the book. I thought the 9.6 was the appropriate grade.
Yeah.
There was a little bit of blunting at the spine corners. I told him I really could not do much to help that. That is an area that's very hard to change. Once those corners get a little smushed, they really don't, go totally straight again. I did my best to convince him not to crack it, but he wanted to take the chance. Did crack it. We saw right after I cracked it, I saw there's also a little tick on it, the way the light faceted, reflected off the cover. Once it was out of the case, you could see it. And it was very scary. But he got a 9.8 on that as well, which was very thrilling for him. I mean, that tripled the value of that book as well. So my customers love it when CGC bills their credit card more than they're supposed to be billed. It's like, at the end, basically, if you've underpaid for the tier of book, they charge you for those extra fees. So they bump it up into high value, and they charge that 3% instead of they don't do it often, but that is a good thing.
Yeah. A buddy of mine had a submission. They charged him $500 more for it because it ended up being a $15,000 book.
Yeah. You could submit anything you want into a vintage tier or modern tier and try to pay that $25 fee or $40 fee. Yeah. But if they are giving something a 9.8 that you weren't expecting, they do hit you with additional fees, which is great. That's the best extra charge you could run into.
Yeah.
What's the kind of ratio you've been seeing in terms of people submitting to you in terms of stuff that's recently, a month or two off the shelf versus older stuff?
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot that's a month or two off the shelf. Other than the Spider-Man 7, this first Spider-Boy cover, that's one I tend to see quite often. I do see some of the new Star Wars books fairly frequently, but mostly it's the vast majority is I see a lot of these.
Bronze.
I see a lot of. Yeah. I see a lot of stuff, a lot of 90s books. I see a lot of New Mutants 98. Those are very common, but I do see some good Golden Age now and then, but that's not as prevalent. Like I said, I had that Hulk recently that I did. I grabbed some other stuff off the pile that I just did recently. This is a book that first time I saw Fantastic Four #2.
Nice.
And he also had a 4, which was very nice.
Nice. Yeah.
So there are some rare, some books that cross my desk. This has not been done yet, but it's got that shiny Stan Lee signature.
Oh, sorry.
Which is always nice. Hi. So this one has not had the pleasure of being on my workbench yet, but I'm sure it'll be nice when it comes out. So that just.
Do you have any track record with foreigns like Italian comics or Spanish comics?
Yeah, I see a lot of the German books, more newer ones than the older stuff, but not a ton of it. I have one customer that's fairly. I see a lot of the reprints of Spider-Man 1, etc., in different languages.
Right.
I have a Tales of Astonish 94, I think it is, the Silver Surfer Hulk cover in the German edition that I'd love to sell. That's in a 9.4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in that, reach me. You can find me on Instagram, Palm Beach Comic Presser.
The foreign market is an up and coming market. If you ask me, it's an untapped resource that people are starting to get into now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these ASM 300 and these other books are getting priced out, and you can't get to them. So you're going into a different market, like getting Homo Arana and things like that, because they're cheap. Because they're cheaper.
Yes.
The link to Ron's Instagram is in the chat. Please click it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Even the more recent foreigns, Panini does some beautiful books.
Yes, the Panini books I'm seeing a lot of. Yes.
Paninis are great.
Yes. Well, when I say a lot, more than anything else when it comes to foreign.
Right. Well, they're the more prevalent, really.
Yes. In
the European Union, anyway.
Yeah, some of those covers end up being better than some of the American ones that are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up some pictures that Ron has sent me.
Good.
These are some of his presses that he uses.
4 of 6 currently. Yep.
Do you find these are all clamshells or?
I am running all clamshells at this time. Yeah, I have some of the swing away types. They can get the job done, but they can't in most cases, but not in all cases. So I much prefer the clamshells. I pretty much phased out all the swing away types at this point.
I have a question. King's Portal, does Ron sell any of his own collection?
I do, of course. My books are mostly from their minor keys from the 90s, because that's kind of what I started practicing on for the most part. So I have a ton of those McFarlane Spider-Man ones, Deadpool ones, Gambit ones, those type books. I do have a lot of them on Shortboxed. A lot of my inventory is there. So that's shortbox.com/u/ronmob. RONMOB. That's where I keep most of my inventory. I'm also on eBay as Palm Beach Comic Presser, but I don't really sell as much lately because I don't have time to work on my own books anymore. So I have about 3 short boxes of my own books that I would like to get to CGC at some point, but they need me to look them over one more time, make sure they're as perfect as they can be, and shipped off. I just haven't had the time to do it lately. So customer books are always coming first.
We have a question from Ferd. Do you press magazines and strategy guides?
Yes, I do. A lot of Sports Illustrated, some Playboys come. I found, though, magazines do not always receive the same improvements that comic books do, just due to the thickness of the covers, a lot of inserts in the books, etc. So, but I do press magazines. I have had some outstanding results. They are $18 each, unless I'd have to check my website, because there is an upcharge at some point, but I don't recall if it's based on value or year. I'd have to take a look.
Hey, Joe, can you control the slides from your end right now? If you can click through it.
No, I cannot.
Oh.
We are stuck looking at these presses for the rest of the evening.
What kind of presses are fun to look at?
So can you talk about this?
Looks like a giant size X-Men that I've recently seen. There might be another photo of this as well. Heavily bent book, a lot of ticks, a lot of spine creases. I have not heard what the grade is on this book. Actually, I'm not even 100% sure. This book went directly back to the owner. He wasn't sure when he was going to grade it, which I encouraged him to, just for protection's sake, spend the money and let's get it in a slab, because it's one of the benefits. Once you press a book, why take a chance? You're going to put another spine tick in it by letting it bend. It's usually time to encapsulate the book then, unless you just want that perfect copy and you're a Aurora book guy. But, damages can happen. They happened originally. They may happen again. So, you have to be careful how you handle books.
You mentioned it before, like a book like this, once you encapsulate it, it's good because there's so many reprints out there that you can use if you wanted to read the story again.
Right.
I mean, you don't.
I'm pretty sure you can
necessarily
find it
have to have
online
that book
too.
in your hand. Oh yeah.
Exactly. It's not a readable book. It's not a book you want to read.
And
if you do, read it before you send it.
One question I forgot to ask.
Absolutely.
What about reversion of everything reverting back to the way it was before the press?
Yeah.
Is that common or?
Not in my experience. I have not had customers indicate to me that they've seen reversion. I am not saying that every book. I have had books. A lot of books will get weakness, especially at center spine. So you can press out every tick and all the faceting, but if that book gets mishandled once it goes to CGC or gets bent even in its board a little bit, those type ticks will come back. So you kind of have to really, and I usually note that on my notes right away: weak spines, weak center spine. It doesn't take much. Just pick that book up at the top of the bottom edge and let that spine flex again. And if that spine is weak at the center, that tick is going to come back. So we hope that CGC knows how to handle books. I mean, whenever I'm handling a book, it has a board under it. When I'm handling the book, it's got a board under it. When I'm ready to flip it, a board goes on top of it, and I flip it over, and I look at the other side. You always want to make sure, especially the spine is supported. Now, waviness type reversion, that should not happen. I mean, it usually happens because a book was not kept in a cold press long enough. Sure, it can get exposed to a lot of humidity again. That's certainly possible. I mean, if it is, I am in Florida in the summer. So, I mean, I guess that is always a possibility. But, a little bit of waviness in the cover is not necessarily a book that's not going to get a 9.8 anymore either. So, the biggest concern I always have is that spine tick coming back because the book is bent a little bit once it's handled again. But I don't hear any complaints about reversion.
Nice. Then we have this. Corner Crunch.
Corner Crunch. This one came out beautifully, I think. So
great.
You gotta pat yourself on the back when you get wins like that, because that is not a book that I expected to come out that perfectly. Yeah, it came out real nice, and that's I think a Black Cat one, if I'm not mistaken.
Black covers are so hard.
Black covers are tough. It's amazing that book did not get color break. It really is. So.
Then we have.
Might be. I believe that's the same book.
That's the same book.
Same book.
Black Cat.
Yep, I believe it's the same book, other side. So that was a pretty bent book.
Yeah.
Right from one side to the other. So yeah, you gotta, not every book is guaranteed to come out like that, but they can. So don't necessarily write off those books that have that type damage. And that's a modern book, which are a little more challenging in some cases. The ink is not as durable. The pages are very thin, but it also, because those pages are so thin, they lend themselves to more improvement as well sometimes.
Do you find that modern Marvel and DC, the difference in the paper, and how does that affect pressing?
Yeah. It depends on the book. Some of the books are awful. Some of them, they put nice covers on them, and they're it's hard to get improvements on them because they're just so thick. I mean, I could think of, I can't think of the actual issues and stuff, but there's a new 52 Batman with the owl on the cover. It's a book that's just super shiny, and the cover is super durable. But overall, you see more books like this Black Cat where the paper is just extremely flimsy. The cover paper is almost the same material as the interior pages. And they are challenging. They have these digital stickers in them as well that need to be protected.
Those are horrible.
They are horrible. And I'm calling them the thick staples with the bunny ears that tend to get pressed into the covers sometimes. There's a challenge with all of those different things, and each of them take a little different method of protecting and trying to get the best results you can, even though you have to deal with those items in the book because they will press into the covers. So you got to be careful, no doubt about it.
Exactly. Then we have Secrets of the Haunted House.
Yep.
Wow, it's
Another
beautiful.
nice little dent up top. Yeah. And a lot of these may be on my Instagram. Most of my, when I have the time, I try to post stuff on Instagram when they're nice little differences like this. But there's there's examples like this. This is a common repair. You'll see this kind of stuff fixed all the time, especially in the center like that where you're not dealing with spines, etc. You can get out a lot of indents in the main part of the cover.
Then we have, this is TMT number 1.
Yeah, that's a great book. This was a win I just recently posted on Instagram because this was a brand new customer who came to me. Asked for a pre-screen, never worked with them before. This book had plenty of these type of dents, had some spine damage that had color breaks as well. Asked for a pre-screen on the book. I pre-screened it as a current 6.0. Expected a 8.5, I believe, or 8.085 is what I told him we should probably expect on it afterwards. And if I am not mistaken, I think this came back as a 9 after all that work. So a 6 to a 9 is a great improvement to take a mid-grade book and bring it into high grade like that.
That's great.
But I'm pretty sure it was a 9 now, if I remember correctly.
We have a question. So when you press it, it's kind of like a steam iron pressing a suit.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess.
It's like
a way.
T-shirt iron on transfer.
It's a t-shirt press for the most part. You're not really the steaming usually occurs before to soften the pages a little bit, make them a little bit more receptive to the pressing process. But you got to be careful because pages do shrink a little bit, so you can't over steam certain books. TMNT is a great example. You can't steam this spine real well because it'll really shrink a lot and you'll create new ticks. So, there's things you learn as you work on books. Different cover materials all have different ways of reacting to the steaming and pressing process. So, yeah, it's very similar.
And we have, what's this, Wolverine?
Joe Fixit cover.
Joe Fixit cover.
Yep. So those little ticks can practically disappear. There may be some color breaks there, but when your eye is not attracted to them, it's real hard to find them.
You got to hold it.
Yeah. It's real. Like I believe there is a small color tick on this book right at the base of the white suit, but it doesn't really show up like on the right picture as it does on the left. Yeah. The other ticks didn't have color break and pretty much went away. So, that's a problem. Very passable 9.8 book now.
Yeah. You can still see it a little bit on that black line on the side, but I mean, for the most part, that's gone.
Yeah. And once color's gone, it's gone. There's really not much you could do except try to shrink it a little bit and hide it as best you can.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever purposely damaged a book to see if you could fix it while you were learning the trade?
Well, I learned, I'll call it that. I'll say I purposely did the damages I did. No, but I've accidentally done plenty of damage, especially as I was, learning the skills taken. Honestly, you can press a book on your own and you will get decent results. You may not make that book as perfect as I can or other professionals out there that have a lot of experience doing it, but books press very nicely. The real challenge is getting it as perfectly, as perfect as it can be, as well as the cleaning process. I think that is a real challenging process to master. What can you clean? What can't you clean? How much, what are the right erasers to use? What are the right buffing materials to use? What can you do without removing color? And, honestly, sometimes you can get away with removing a little bit of yellow. How much can you get away with to make that stain go away? It really comes down to the touch.
That's why dollar boxes are great. Go out and buy 50
50
books that are beat up for $50 and have at it and have all different types of paper.
Goodwill, pick up those books there.
Yeah, I was buying enough books in the in 2020 though that I was giving myself plenty of experience. And honestly, it's the cleaning process that is the most time consuming. I mean, the books are in the press for a while, absolutely, but I can add more presses. I can't add more time in the day to clean more books, and that seems to be my bottleneck now. Is how many books can I get done in a day? How many can I get cleaned? How many? I could run books through the presses, 5 times a day and move things to cold pressing, but there's only so much time in the day to clean a book properly.
Then this is
I don't know. That might be the back of that same giant size X-Men, possibly. I'm not positive.
Trying to read the side.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
it is.
offhand.
That's just
Oh,
Marvel
yeah.
Comics Group was on there. Yeah.
It could be, but it's a common area of repair as well, and that's a square bound book, so it's a little challenging to work on, but you can make those improvements on them.
And then we have Wolverine 88. 88?
Yeah. Yep,
Yep,
exactly.
that's it. Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those books that are not real fun to press because of the inserts, but they can definitely be improved. And I believe there's a color breaking spine tick there, but practically gone.
It's pretty minor.
Yeah.
It's pretty minor now. Yeah.
Have you found that you can get different I know people are complaining about grades back from CGC.
Yeah.
Is it more CGC being stricter, or is get different grades from different graders in your experience?
Yeah, I think in my experience, I think it's the graders. I think you're going to find 9 out of 10 grade pretty appropriately, possibly even leniently at times, in my opinion, because I feel I'm a pretty strict grader. But there seems to be, that 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 15 that just does not give the 9/8 as quickly. I think we've all had the bad experience where a batch comes back just undergraded. It happens. There's no doubt about it. I remember in a submission I did last summer of about 20 books that were 9/8 candidates, in my opinion. I got 18 9/6s, a 9/8, and a 9/4. So, when
Somebody was having a
that
bad week down at CGC.
yeah, that's just
Somebody
really
needed a
bad.
break.
Yeah,
Somebody's
but the other
wife left
batch
them that week.
of 25, which also had 20 candidates in it, got 16 9/8. So, because they break them up into batches of 25, that'll be the largest size box they'll send back to you. So they break those large orders up like that.
Well, these poor guys that they're grading books after the Buccaneers are losing or the Dolphins are losing, and they're coming in,
coming in a little hungover, a little angry.
But honestly, I kind of felt they were grading more leniently overall for the first couple of months of this year. But I've seen some stricter grades come back lately, and don't get me started on the 9/9s we're seeing.
Right. I think they've been adding new graders too, because they're trying to build that new place in Indiana, right? So I think they're trying to get some new graders and new workers in. Yeah.
Train them and move them. Huh, that's interesting.
Are you starting to see some more signature books come in now that?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more signature books come in.
I know I should have bought all those signature books in a couple years ago. I didn't buy any.
I would never see signatures before because people were not getting them cracked. If what the grade they had was the grade they had, but I'm getting a lot of signature books in for cracking, whether they're CBCS or previously CGC that just said, a certain name written on the cover. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of them over the last month. I'm surprised how many. So if my workload of signature books is any indication of how many are getting sent to CGC, there's a lot going there.
Huh. You just gave me a good idea because I have a couple of CGC private signings that I didn't agree with the grades that will be cracked and pressed probably.
Yeah, I think it remains to be seen though how well those JSA signature books hold up in value compared to the regular signature series. So we'll have to see. You might want to wait to see, but I'm sure that's one of the reasons why the Stan Lee signed book was given to me recently.
Wow.
It's because they're now authenticating those signatures.
Yeah, they had that poor old man sign anything.
Yeah.
More Stan Lee signatures around.
Actually, this is another picture of the same giant size X-Men.
Yes. This one was a little more, little better indication of how much Ben this book had in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And little Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman 1. Good eye. Good eye.
Bring me a
And
dream.
perfection is not always possible, but improvements definitely are. So not everything can be made into a 9.8.
Yeah.
But creases
now
can
that-
be when they don't reflect the light
It's
the
not,
same way.
it's not as
they
deep
become-
anymore.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
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 You can take a crease like that and make it reflect the light properly the same way, which does not show as badly. But there is still a texture. That's what I would call a texture change. Not so much a color break, but there's a texture change in the paper there from being bent, and those are permanent, unfortunately.
Right.
And sometimes you don't know if they're there until you press that book. You
Yeah.
can't really, you might think it doesn't change texture because it's a light bend, but until you get it flat, you don't really know how badly the paper's been damaged.
So basically, you can never get rid of a crease.
You can't get rid of a crease. No, not once it changes the texture or breaks the color on the paper, unfortunately. Now that book honestly was probably pressed 3 or 4 times to
Mhm.
make sure, from my recollection, to make sure it reached the maximum improvement. You'll smooth out those little veins, those little texture lines a little bit more the second time, a little bit more. You'll get diminishing returns with each press, but at some point it reaches its best improvement, and usually by 3 or 4 presses, you've reached it.
I meant to ask earlier, what type of defects can't you press out?
I think we've kind of hit on a lot of them. Once that texture change is there, the hardest area to really improve is a spine corner. That's the area that,
Can't
it's
remake right
really-
angles.
Yeah, exactly. The presses don't work that way. Unfortunately, you can't really get in there. Sometimes if you have a bend there, you might be able to work it a little bit with a tack iron, but you're not going to get the same results most of the time once there's a crush in that corner, or even just a blunting, just a little pushing on it where you get a little bit of color loss at that corner. So, usually, and I don't, when I grade a book, I don't tell somebody this book's a 9.8. My grading standards are 9.6 probable, 9.6 9.8 possible, 9.6, 9.8. Where expect a 9.6, but if the grader's in a good mood, you could get that 9.8.
Yeah.
Under promise, over deliver.
Yes.
So-
9.0 plus. You're looking at likely a 9.0. Could get the 9.2. More likely to go 9.2 than 8.5. So I have to hedge because I'm not CGC. We never know exactly what they're going to do on a book.
And Cal said stains? No, no stains.
Stains are a stain. Yeah, unfortunately. The question is it a stain or is it soiling? And you don't know until you try to clean it. I mean, some things because there's a tide line, you could see the bleed into, but once it soaks
Coffee
into
stain,
the fibers,
coffee ring.
yeah. Once it bleeds into the fibers of the paper, I can't fix it. Maybe those guys that wet clean might be able to lighten it more or whatever, but yeah, stain by definition is permanent. So lightening sometimes is possible, and you could do a lot more on the white areas of cover than you can on the sections that have color, because you just can't be as aggressive with cleaning those areas because you'll lose the color.
Yeah.
Then we have Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. No, another book I was not familiar with first time I saw it. It's not a book that was easy to work on because that cover does want to bunch up like that. I don't know why, but that's the way they get. You put that book came to me like that, but when you humidify a book that's flat like that, it'll start looking like that again. So yeah, it was not it's one of those rare publishers. I don't know who publishes that.
Yeah.
But not one I like seeing.
Was this a free comic book day book? Do you
This
remember?
one-
This one was.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Hey, She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, we all know that tick. I think it exists on most of our books.
Yep.
Was that a little color rub at the right below it?
I
That
don't.
little white line.
Little white line.
Works its way down.
Oh yeah, I see it.
I'd have to take mine out.
You got to get out your laser pointer and show us what you're talking about.
The
Can you see the
image on
mouse?
Yeah, the image on the right there.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's 34. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's all
I,
right.
I had 34 sitting here. I was wondering whether I had it.
Yeah, same purple color.
The wrong
I
one.
think the same customer sent me that book along with issue 1.
It's on both sides, so I mean, it's not like it's something new.
yeah, it's probably just a little printer error. It's probably like an inch below.
Kind of looks like a drag line or something, like
Yeah.
from a nail or something.
So then we have Secret War number 5.
Yeah, that's one of those foreign editions, I believe.
Yeah, this is the Turkish, I think.
Turkish. There's a
Think
lot of
Turkish.
Turkish variants running around now.
The smaller books. I have a few Turkish variants.
Delgado. Oh no, I don't think it's Turkish.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, I do see Marvel written on it. Maybe it's not. It's not a book
Well,
that I had.
Some still they still have the newer ones still have the markings of Marvel now because they're leasing out to the publisher in that country.
Okay.
Whereas before, the country would they'd lease it out, but it was their own artists sometimes were doing the art in the book or at least on the cover.
Right.
So then we have
What is that?
I don't recall the book, but indents like that in a
Okay.
cover is something that's very common and can be improved quite a bit. Sometimes perfection's not possible, but a lot of times it is. Indents are
it's
not something that should scare somebody.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles something.
Yeah, it might be one
That's
of those.
that's Raphael.
And this
That's
one,
Raphael.
yeah, and this book looks like it also has some blemishes, soiling to the colored areas that just is impregnated into the page a little bit, unfortunately. But those indents can get removed very easily.
oh, great work there.
Yeah, thanks.
Yay, Dave.
This is my book.
Is that one yours? No kidding.
Yeah,
Okay.
this was my book.
Here's a great example of a printer's crease as
Yep.
well. Unfortunately, you might see that on books from the 70s and 80s a lot of times. It was much more common, but when the book there's a wrinkle in the page as it's printed like that, those printer creases, unfortunately, are permanent. They can be flattened and smooth, but that's the way the page is smushed. So, but the good news is CGC doesn't usually impact the grade too much on a printer crease compared to a normal crease because it's a manufacturing process. If I remember correctly, though, they were not too kind to you on
They
that
were
book,
not
they,
kind to me
now
at
that you
all.
mention it, because I
Yeah.
remember saying, "Man, they must have hit that printer's crease as a regular crease."
I think they did.
Well, I think CGC too. If it's a
So one of those boxes.
defect that they see repeatedly as a manufacturer defect, that's
Yes.
something repeatable.
Yes.
The Thanos book, with the famous Marvel rub, stuff like that. They tend to accept that far more.
Yep.
Maybe it's a-
Oh,
They hit me.
Ouch.
This book is not an 8. Trust me.
Anything else wrong with it that you
No.
saw as you looked through it?
No,
Because that's
I didn't
one of
see
those
anything.
books I believe you sent to me and I sent to CGC on your behalf. They
Mhm.
sent directly back to you, correct?
Yes. Oh, just in case I've used his services, as you can see. Yeah, I should have mentioned that during the beginning. I apologize for that.
Yes, and a batch of your books seem to have a strict grader, I think, as well, huh?
Yeah.
well, they see his name on there. So
Then we have Marvel Tales.
Boy, I sent you pictures of a lot of square-bound books for some reason. I
It's
apologize.
It's fine.
I like to see
Yeah.
square-bound books.
I have a lot of square
It's
bones.
square
That's
bound.
good.
Yep. Heavy damage on that improved tremendously. Yeah, I think that now the GSX came from a different customer, but I think there's another square-bound book that was in this batch as well that looked very similar that I think I sent to you earlier.
Yep. Then we have
There it is.
there it is.
Same customer, same batch of books. I think they all got bent in half at some point.
Nice. Then we have this is a convention exclusive.
Yeah, don't recall the book offhand, but
Wow, what a
the
difference.
great results. Yeah.
Looks like a
It's an New Comics exclusive.
yeah.
Yeah, the back of the books aren't as exciting to look at, are they?
Over there.
But they're just as important,
Department
I
of
think,
Truth.
when it comes to
Department of
grading.
And then we have Superman, the Man of Steel, first appearance of Doomsday.
Wow.
Yep. This was one of those books when I got. It came with from a customer with a large batch of books and pre-screened it. And he rejected going forward with it, but I asked him if I could press it because I knew we can get great results on a book like this. I think it would make a great photo. So Ron will recognize that book when he sees it, my customer.
That's great. I think I want to show a few of the books that you pressed for me that I just got back last week. If you don't mind.
No.
So I thought I'll.
As long as the grades are good.
I saw you had a few spiral fixes on your site as well, which were nice.
Excellent. Yes. There's no extra charge for spiral repair as well with me.
The Secret War number 2, 9/8. Tough black spine, as you can see. Yep. Great work. I think we both were shocked on this one. The Comico Christmas Special number 1 came back in 9/8.
Yeah, Comico books are
oh wow,
not the best paper.
Yeah,
but it improves a lot. It really does. I see quite a bit of that. What is it, Johnny Quest books, and they improve very nicely.
Yeah.
Those 4 books were abused for years in boxes.
They were.
Before people realized, oh, Dave Stevens is a thing.
As anybody that's watched my channel know that I collect DC Universe variants, and usually I'll take whatever grade that comes by, but got a 9/8 and Batman the Detective. I love these red DC Universe logos. 1. That Contagion storyline was pretty good, guys. Catwoman, 9/8.
Congrats.
Do you see a lot of these DC Universe variants, or just from me?
Just from you. No, I don't think I've ever seen them before.
We had a Robin 28, 9.8. Batman Chronicles number 4, another 9/8 DCU. And a lot of these are the only ones on the census, which is awesome.
Are these the ones you got from the comic packs, Bruce?
Huh?
Are these the ones you got from the comic packs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were sealed in a comic pack for what, 40 years, 30 years?
Yeah.
Oh.
9/8 on this Superboy 24. This is one of the more rarer DCU's universes to find.
Yeah.
This was in a 2-pack. It actually, I don't know if you remember, it actually had a line, like a polybag line going across the top from the board.
Those poly bags are not friendly after 15 years in a bag.
Yeah, and they're always there. So yeah, make sure you press those polybag books. And those polybag creases will come out unless you're talking about a cardstock cover. Then they'll improve, but they may not always come out. So I think like that darker image number 1 with the gold lettering. It's a thick cover. Sometimes those polybag lines won't come out of that cardstock cover, but they always will on those Superman 1s, the McFarlane 1990 books, and a lot of other books that have those polybags. So yeah, don't just send those in expecting them to be perfect. They rarely are.
And you would advise people, as soon as you get polybag books, take them out of the polybag.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It all depends on resale. I mean, I guess if you wanted to resell the book, people might want it in a polybag because they know it shouldn't be stained. Maybe it's a little easier to sell on eBay that way. I don't know. It's a good question.
I think the only thing I ever kept in polybags was my X-Force ones, just because they have the different cards in them. It was just fun to keep them in there. So I have a stack of them. Like that.
Yeah.
Then Shadow of the Bat, another DCU 9.8.
Great.
The Truth, Red, White, and Black, 9.8.
Excellent.
Great book.
Should see a little resurgence here with Brave New World.
Huh?
Should see a resurgence a little bit with Brave New World coming out.
Yeah.
We're getting Isaiah Washington.
Little
There you go.
Todd McFarlane, number 1. Spider-Man
The book
number
we
1.
spoke about.
Yeah.
Yep.
Newsstand.
Yep.
I was happy to get this back.
Which was a polybagged book, I'm sure, at one point.
Probably was. Yes.
Yeah, I think the newsstand was in a polybag.
And this is one. It's probably my favorite. Johnny Quest number 3, 9.8.
There you go.
Thank you for these. Appreciate it.
Ah, great. I'm glad they worked out.
So, you know,
Nice. Great work.
if anybody have any questions
Thanks,
for Ron,
I think I got most of mine out.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I want to just touch in on the cleaning, on your cleaning process.
Sure.
I don't know if we really got into that too good. I mean, what do you find certain things that work better?
In the cleaning process?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's in my experience, it's finding the right erasers. There are some real good art gum erasers out there, art erasers. There's some pen erasers that make things, little, but it's a process. Anything you start erasing, you need to blend. You need to fully erase the book. You can't just erase a spot on a white, on a white cover or a white section. You need to do
then you get
every
a blotch, right?
Yeah, you'll get a shiny spot on the book. Absolutely. So you need to smooth it out. So if you're working pen eraser, you got to smooth it out with a smooth eraser after that. They need buffing after that as well. So yeah, it's a whole page that needs, you can't just do a small area, unfortunately.
Right.
And every book gets cleaned.
Yeah, I've enjoyed using those things that look like a rosin bag that are filled with like art gum eraser.
Do you like
bits.
them? I hate them.
I don't mind it to smooth out sometimes in the middle of
Yes.
the field of a book. It's kind of
be
nuts.
careful with that thing. It can take
Yeah.
color
Oh yeah.
as well.
It's
a dangerous.
I made my mistake on a Tales of Two Astonished a few weeks back where I was rushing, and everything was looking good, and then I just rushed a little too much, and there's a 2-inch tear right down the middle of the book.
Yeah, and there's some people use magic eraser, but these items will scratch too. You got to be careful. You have to know, there's a little bit of art and technique involved, and knowing how to work the edge of the book, the corners of the book, etc. Everyone kind of develops people that do this, I think, develop that process, but it's it's a learning curve that just takes a long time. I mean, I think that was harder to learn than basic pressing, in my opinion.
Yeah, cleaning takes a patient. I can't have anyone around you to distract you.
Yep.
Which is why I don't clean my books that much anymore. I don't have the patience for it.
It takes a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of time. I mean, a very dirty book from the 60s or 70s they all had the white covers on the back that were always filthy. You take the good with the bad in this business. I'll get a lot of books like your Contagion books that have a lot of color, might not need a lot of cleaning, and I won't have to spend as much time cleaning a book like that. But I'll get a giant size X-Men one like the one you showed, where it could take 30 to 40 minutes to clean that book. So it's a win-lose proposition sometimes, but you take them all, and unfortunately nobody wants to hear, well, I got to charge you more for that book. It's a flat fee system that I think pretty much all pressers work on. But when you compare the prices I'm asking for the work I do compared to other pressers out there, I think I am at the bottom, low end of the pricing scale, and I'm definitely the quickest turnaround out there as far as I know, and I hope to be able to maintain that.
Yeah, I like the fact that you do the pre-screen, because I'm not sure how many people that do your service do the pre-screens.
I don't think anyone.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of trying to keep the customers happy, and
that's
it was
even that's new
it's a
with,
challenge.
like CGC.
Yeah, no, see, yeah, exactly.
It helps to set expectations as well.
Right. And that,
Right.
yeah. Well, the pre-screening is before, I call it pre-screening before I clean and press the book, but I do offer that grading before I send to CGC. So that's no additional charge. That's just base service for me. So I think both are good. And the $250 for the pre-screen was a challenge to try to find the right price, because it does take a lot of time. Unfortunately, it's not something I enjoy doing, but I'd rather make sure I have a happy customer. And they're getting what they expect, because a lot of customers don't know what can be accomplished on a book.
No, I think that's a fair enough price, because when you're looking at a big book, you want to know exactly what you're looking at on both ends, your end, his end, and then the third end being CGC. So
yeah,
I think a lot of people have unrealistic expectations sometimes.
Yes.
Absolutely,
book.
absolutely.
Oh, it's going to get pressed and clean. It's going to be a 9.8.
I wish they could all be.
So this is your Instagram page, which is also named Palm Beach Presser. I want to just show a few of your.
Is that an Alex Toth Space Ghost there? Nice.
It is.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh wow!
Customer did get that graded. I don't recall, unfortunately, what the grade was, but it was in the 9s. I know that might have been a 9.4.
It's a beautiful.
I know it was. He was very happy. I know that he sent it in himself. Local customer.
And then he took a 7.0. It jumped to a 9.0.
Yeah, tons of CPR results like that. That's not uncommon.
And then the infamous Batman 423.
Yeah.
What I want to see. This Amazing Spider-Man 47.
Ooh.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's
huge difference. Yeah, huge difference.
Oh yeah.
Lots of scratches on that book.
A lot of mine from that era, they're all 3.0s. So
where do you see normally your biggest jump in grades with the books you're pressing? Because sometimes it's easier to get from a 6 to a 7.5 than it is from a 9.6 to a 9.8. And every book's gonna be unique in terms of the defects it has and what can work out or not. But do you tend to see good results trying to get a book that's maybe a 6.0 and getting it cleaned up and pressed real nice and getting it into maybe a mid 7s or a 7 versus
it really does depend. I see a lot more customers send me 9.6s than anything else, to my lament. Here's that Star Wars that I mentioned that I really did not want to press. I spoke to the customer a few times saying, "No, you sure?"
Yeah, because a lot of times a 9.6 to a 9.8 just feels like the whim of who's grading it that day.
Yeah. But I only really feel comfortable cracking those 9.6s if I see a defect that can be improved. Because honestly, once a book is encapsulated, you can't see everything. You can't see every tick. You can't see the corners real well. You don't know if there's a small stain, regardless of what the grade is in the case. So you're always taking a risk cracking it. And you can, there's only one grade above a 9.6, but there's also the possibility books
not anymore.
No,
now you got 2 more grades.
That is true. There might be 3, I guess, in some cases.
I know they've been there before, but
so that's a reluctance that I have. But a reel I did just a couple of days ago was a customer that sent me 4 9.6s. He got 9.8s on all of them.
That's great. Wow.
I don't know of downgrades. Honestly, I'm sure they've happened. I don't have customers tell me that 9.6s went to 9.4s, or, I have cracked books though that I think the grades were generous to start with. Where I could think of a Silver Surfer 1 that had great improvements, but the grade came back exactly the same. And I told the customer right after I cracked it, I'm like, this was a very generous grade you got originally. I think it was a 9.0, and it stayed a 9.0, but the eye appeal improved a lot.
Mm-hmm. What? This is going to be kind of a loaded question, so be careful. What's your stance on cracking and regrading? Should that be something that is noted on the paper? I don't think it is right now, but how do you handle that when you crack and regrade?
You mean, do we notify CGC what the grade was?
Yeah.
Do we send in the labels? I have one customer that does indicate, what the grades were, but most of the time we do not send the labels in. I prefer not to. I have recommended on those occasions where, you find a book that was generously graded originally, and you're hoping to at least get that grade back. I recently had a book, I believe I think it was a Marvel Spotlight 5 or possibly a Ghost Rider 1, where it was, I think, a 7.0, but the foxing that occurred over the 10, 12 years it's been in the case, it was just explosive. I mean, once you took that paper they put underneath the cover out, it was just covered in mildew. So that book got worse over time in the case. So in that case, I recommended, hey, maybe we should stick this label in. Let's hope we get another 7.0 back. But that book hasn't come back yet. I'm still hoping.
And you know what?
Sometimes
those books coming back at the same grade, if they're cleaned and pressed and now present better, even though it might be the same grade.
Right.
I often see even same sellers selling a 7.0 of the same book. One just presents a little better. It's a little more brilliant. Whatever, it'll still get a premium because it presents better. I mean, you see that more with older books than you do with newer books.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, this cleaning right here is amazing, actually.
Yeah, and this was an older book that had that, that common ad we see for artists coming out or whatever. But it was a very nice shiny copy, whatever book it was. But yeah, cleaning can take off that soiling very easily. So. They usually don't present this shiny, though. This was a very high-grade copy of whatever book it was.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. So, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate this. And you guys all had great questions.
Thanks for
already.
Beach Presser. I'm new to the stream, but it seems like you really help people figure out some of the things of why they're not getting the grades right, or little details to look for. So that I'm a noob to this, so that's interesting to me. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome to come on anytime. Just message me.
No, and anytime you guys need some advice, reach out. Send them with your viewers. We can send me some photos. Whatever we need to do, we'll see what we can do to help people out. So,
or even
it's
if
a service industry.
Even if you're looking at comics in the store, what to look for too, if you want a really mint copy. So that really helps too. Like I might want to start picking up some. And
absolutely.
Max had a question for me the other night. Is it possible to press VCR cassette covers?
My VHS. I have a rare VHS because I collect VHS, and none of these men respect me none of these panels over here respect me for collecting VHS. Sticks.
I have no respect for you.
But I have a wrinkled box, and I'm trying to
the box itself, or the
it's a little. It's not bad. It's just wrinkled.
It's cardboard. It's a cardboard box.
I don't know what I could do. I don't know.
Might be valuable.
No, it's not. Like it's Incredibles on VHS. It's like 20-something bucks. It's still pretty
honest,
pricey.
I have never had to press a box. I've pressed some of my own baseball cards. I don't offer it as a service because I can't imagine how to price that, and I really don't want people sending me $50,000 baseball cards.
That's true.
That's
true.
Charge them $2.50. To press it. I don't want that work. So I don't.
I would assume it's more difficult. Yeah.
Ron is doing the Lord's work.
I have to build some type of internal structure for it.
I don't know how to price that exactly. So it's not something I offer right now. But I imagine there's people that offer baseball card pressing services as well, or Pokemon card services. But I don't have the experience. I don't know how how they laminate all.
You probably hit the mark right there if they're because some of those cards are really absorbent, and kids sometimes beat them up. That would be a thing. Yeah.
So, but I guess if you want me to charge you $13 to press a card, I guess I could do it.
Max, like what?
I wanted you to help out a new friend. No, I'm just kidding. Charge. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you ever press movie posters or screen prints?
I'm sorry?
Do you ever press movie posters or screen prints?
Oh, great question. I have had a customer reach out to me a couple of times. The problem I have with no, I don't is the short answer, and the reasons are if you saw in the photo, the presses that I use are basically 15 by 15 inch presses. You know, I don't really have. You can't press, you know, a movie poster on that. You know, you could press a section, but you're going to get a press line on the section that's not pressed. And I really, again, it's a matter of what you have the experience doing. I don't know how to ship movie posters. I don't know how to roll them properly. I don't want to damage people's stuff. I'm not an expert in that. So
I mean,
no,
if you have a very valuable movie poster, the best way is you actually have to shell out a good amount of money to take it to a restorer, and they spray it and they linen back it and everything else. And
if it's worth it, send it to the people who know how to do it. I'm not in a position. I don't have the experience, so I'm not going to offer that.
I got my Frazetta poster back there, and it has so many creases in it. I'd love to get it cleaned up, but yeah, it's an expensive process.
Yeah, terrific question, though.
Yeah, thank you. So
gentlemen,
you know,
thank you so much.
If you can stick around and hang out for the rest of the show, or if you can head out, I know you're probably busy.
Well, it is getting late.
Gotta get back to pressing.
I tend to talk a lot of pop culture, and I am not keeping up on that stuff as much as I'd like to. If you guys
everyone
talk
loves
about
Acolyte right now
from the 80s, and I can jump right in. But no, I'm not really up with today's stuff like you guys are.
All right.
I appreciate it. PalmBeachPresser.com. If you guys want to. If anybody wants to grab a submission form or look for my phone number, text number, it's all on there. So feel free to reach out that way, or Palm Beach Comic Presser on Instagram. So PalmBeachPresser.com on the website, and Palm Beach Comic Presser on Instagram. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Awesome. Great talking to you guys.
I'll reach out to you later.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That was pretty awesome.
It's of course educational and informative. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, for people that don't know about comic pressing and what goes into it, and it's a lot of work, especially cleaning books. And I
always knew the idea of it, you know, not what way.
I hate cleaning books. I hate cleaning books more than anything.
I hate cleaning books too.
I have no patience for it.
None. I think the most success I had was with that book Kyle sent me. I was like, wait, what? Am I doing this? I don't know if you can see in the back over there. You see one of my presses that I have. Excuse the mess. This is me moving. I haven't organized anything. And I didn't feel like putting my green screen up. Yeah, you can stick around for Flaming Hot Covers coming out next week. You can judge the covers, Max. I know you don't know about comics, but you can talk about the art on the book.
I know some hot covers, that's for sure.
I'm right.
How many long boxes is it though? These are not long boxes. Those are actually boxes full of graded comic books. So
Bruce likes his boxes short.
Jesus.
No, grading companies. I think CGC offers pressing and cleaning.
They do.
I actually have 21 boxes of these. They hold about 35 to 35 of these. So I have a lot of books. What is it? Do the pressing companies cry about pressing? Do the grading companies cry about pressing? No, but if they could, they've been starting to tell that people are using chemicals to clean the covers, so they'll notate it on the front of the book and deduct points for that. First up, number 10. We got Remote Space number 1, the 1 in 10 Otley incentive. I thought this was a cool cover. It's a new series that's coming out next week. I'm a big fan of Ryan Otley.
So many new series coming out. So many indie books now. It's hard to keep track.
You know, it seems like Image has been putting out a lot of sci-fi stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's the stuff that gets optioned. So they gotta put that stuff up.
So then at number 9, we have Batman and Robin number 10, the 1 in 25 Cunha incentive. Little Damian Wayne doing sketches. Little manga, anime inspired cover.
Some nice little Super Sons T-shirt on.
Yep. And Batman is in the background calling for Robin's help. Got Mr. Freeze, Clayface, and Man.
Wayne headphones on. He can't hear anything.
I like the shirt with the Superman Robin.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool shirt.
I like the little flat line and a heart back on the wall behind him.
I'd like those headphones.
You got a bat watch. Number 8, Torpedo 1972. Number 4, the 1 in 20 Fritz Casas Incentive.
Nice.
This is
Torpedo's had some good one. There's been
this is amazing
covers
cover
on this as well.
You know, you can't see his face, but you know he's about to ambush somebody, assassinate someone with that gun.
I was thinking that too, Kingsport. I thought it was I'm thinking Sin the City.
Yeah.
It's like Moth.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get all the Batman family in the new Batman movie. I'm hoping we do too. Just introduce everyone in the Brave and the Bold movie.
Yeah. That's
number 7. DC Pride Uncover, the Jim Bartel foil variant.
Nobody does go. Jim Bartel and bright colors is always a winner.
Yep. This is I believe just a collection of Pride covers.
Right.
In the book.
I like that one. That's cool. And that's for Pride Month.
There's always normally a good Harley and Poison Ivy cover for Pride, for the Pride covers.
Number 6, Space Ghost number 2, the 1 in 50 Matina Incentive.
Wow.
All the Space Ghost covers have been good.
Wow, this cover's great. I think the first one had a see-through phase 2 cover that Matina did.
Yeah, there's a ton of covers. It's Dynamite, so the Michael Cho covers have been fun because they've been the throwback covers to the animation.
Yep. Number 5, Scarlet Witch number 1, the 1 in 100 Jenny Frison Virgin Incentive.
There's a lot of good covers on the Scarlet Witch series.
Yep.
Can never knock a Jenny cover.
I can't see Scarlet Witch without the actress playing her in the MCU now, though. It's like she's the default Scarlet. It's like that looks great, but it's just like not the same.
Yeah, everyone loves Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Yep. Then at number 4, we have Thundercats number 5, the 1 in 10 Nakayama.
I'll take that.
You Incentive. This is a beautiful cheap power cover.
Yes.
Yeah. Too bad. This series has been nothing in between the covers in terms of decent story, but there've been some fun.
All covers. I want is good stories.
Then write one.
Oh,
the Space Ghost has been decent. I've enjoyed the first 2 issues of Space Ghost.
Thundercats, ho! If the Adam Wingard Thundercats movie happens, hopefully they could do live. It could be cats.
I don't know if I want
cats with weapons.
Some things just feel like they need to be animation, and I just don't want to see certain things in live action. I feel the same way about He-Man. I don't want to see He-Man live action.
I feel like it would be incredibly campy if they were to do something like that.
It would be.
It would be just so damn cheesy. But I mean, I get the appeal and the nostalgia, but yeah, no.
Yeah. And number 3, Red Sonja Empire, the Dam number 3, the 1 in 20 Middleton Incentive.
Now this is a movie that needs a remake.
There have been great Middleton covers on a lot of these Red Sonja books lately. They've all been fantastic.
Didn't it have G?
Yeah, I mean, Red Sonja goes into option hell all the time.
Yeah,
we get told like every 2 years.
I hope the movie.
They're working on it.
They basically filmed the movie already too, and I don't even know.
Yeah,
I just hope it's good.
I
Is it a
want them to
Marvel
do it
property
right.
or something? Or
Nah, it's Dynamite has a license for Red Sonja right now.
Comics. Like this comic will come out and there will be 20 to 30 different covers of the same issue.
Yep.
Because people buy them.
This guy right here.
That guy right there. We all know why he buys them.
I love Red Sonja. I have her old stuff from Conan as well.
Boobs. Oh.
Boobs. There we have. And number 2, Usagi Yojimbo, the Crow number 3, the 1 in 40 Mitsuhiro variant.
I didn't see what the last 1 in 40 was doing.
Oh, I didn't even check. The number 2.
Is this Ninja Turtles?
No.
They've been in the same universe.
I swear I had the
Usagi. Usagi made an appearance in the Turtles, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, because there was a toy of him, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
He's a rabbit.
Okay.
The image in at the top left is probably what you
mind.
recognize. Yeah.
Yeah, the character on the cover is not Usagi.
Got it.
But I know the 1 in 40 did really well out of the gate for number 1. Number 2 had a little bit of heat, but I think it kind of died off. So it'll be interesting to see what this one does.
I'm afraid to have Robert Rodriguez Red Sonja movie. And the number 1 book for next week. What is it? I forgot what it was.
After Robert Rodriguez, what he did
Blood
with
Hunt.
Book of Boba Fett episodes. I don't know if
Blood
I've seen
Hunt
direct edit.
Red Band number 3, the 1 in 25, Bloody Homage Incentive.
Yeah, all these EC homages are doing quite well.
This is the way horror books used to look, 30s, 40s, 50s? And they're just doing an homage to
40s,
those
50s, all the
covers.
way up through the 70s. I mean, this
70s.
was common if you got a Tales from the Crypt book or stuff like that. So
Those are the books that made parents fear for their children's morality.
Yep.
That's why I had to make the comic book code.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
Well, the whole Seduction of the Innocent books. Yeah, there's all kinds of good ones from Seduction of the Innocent, with all the reasons for why they pulled the comic code.
Except
It
the
was
price
like
was $5.99 and not 10
It-
cents.
It was the Reefer Madness for comic books.
Yeah. A lot of my favorite bondage covers went away once they put the comic code on.
I appreciate you guys having me. I have to call my mother. It's nothing serious, but I forgot. So I'll be heading now. But
All right, Max.
cool
Say
cover
Max.
there. Good show, Bruce. If you haven't yet, please thumbs up the video. Great group of guys here with Joe's Doolin, Sticks Boy, Brian. Please support all of these guys and all their shows. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
Wait, you gonna leave before the video games?
Oh man, I have to call my mom. All right, I'll stay.
Well, just stay, but like
I'll
mute
stay for 10 more
yourself,
minutes. At 11, yeah.
I was gonna say call your mom real quick.
Yeah, you can call your
that's
mom
fine.
and
I had something to talk with her. I had something to handle. That's all. But yes,
Oh,
I'll wait.
video games
10
are
more
right.
minutes. 10 more minutes. I'll stay.
all right. You ready?
Yeah.
Play at your own risk. We take a look at some retro video game sales. This week I focused on Nintendo Entertainment System braided cartridges. Well, cartridges here. First up, Aliens 3, released in 1993 for the NES.
Damn.
Got a 9.8 A++ seal. Sorry about the information being left out. Sold for $937.50. Of course, I added a little screenshot of actual gameplay.
You know, this is awesome, and I know there's really Nintendo sealed is really valuable, but it's so far removed from me because back in that day, my family was poor, so I never saw a new brand new sealed.
What was a brand new game?
NES. I mean, I had like used rentals and used store. I never even knew they came in boxes like that.
Is there a level of this game where Ripley gets to bang the doctor?
No, what is this? No, it's Nintendo, family friendly. that stance has not changed from Nintendo.
But I do have some sealed games that's just never from this era. Never sealed game from this. That's like crazy.
Well, actually, if you think about it, Nintendo was more lenient with their third party than they are now. They have some pretty, I want to say violent, but action-packed games for Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of war games came out of like Sunsoft. And places like that.
All the Theft Auto games for the freaking Nintendo DS, right? Handheld.
Yeah. Handheld. Yep.
Then we have Bible Buffett.
You gotta love Bible Buffet. It's Bible Buffet.
Hell yeah.
Baby.
CGC.
I never even heard of this game.
8.5. A seal
I
of
sent
8
Bruce
plus.
this one.
Released in 1993. Sold for $375. I looked it up. It's like the game of life, and every square was a different level that you had to
Nice.
It was it looks like an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
These are those fun rare ones that you'll find at weird thrift stores sometimes and stuff like that. All right.
Yeah.
They are not heavily printed.
Oh.
That's interesting. I've heard a lot of weird NES games. I never heard of
This
Bible.
was the company that made this was the Christian Video Game Association or something like that, I believe.
I don't even understand the premise. Bible buffet, like the buffet of Bibles. Like, I don't know why there's food. I don't get it. Like, there's a buffet of food or Bibles. Bible buffet. I don't get it.
Pizzas and hot dogs getting along. What kind of morals are they trying to preach here?
I mean, this looks like what's that Seth Rogen movie that's
Sausage Party.
Sausage Party. It looks like a sausage party up on the cover. I don't
It does. It kind of does.
The next up, G.I. Joe, the Atlantic Factor, a Water 9.0, seal an A, released in 1992, sold for $276.
I have this game. Not sealed.
You do?
I have this game.
Nice.
Not sealed.
I've never seen this game.
Yeah, I saw this on Heritage. I was like, ooh, G.I. Joe.
I got it when it first came out. I couldn't wait.
Wow. And this came out in 1900, guys.
Nah.
Yep. Back when you used to use the Nintendo on an abacus.
I was the young age of 9 years old in 1982.
I gotta look. Maybe that should be a thing. You do for next week, Joe. Those old Commodore 64 floppy disks.
Oh, the old 5 1/4 floppies.
Yeah. See how much those games
Or,
sell
sorry,
for.
were they 5 1/2 or 5 1/4? I always forget.
Hmm.
But yeah, those are.
Here we go. Here's some money. Star Wars.
Yeah, this one too.
Wow.
Water 9.4, seal an A, 1991, sold for $1,500.
I have this game as well.
What?
Not sealed, but I have the
played
game.
the Game Boy kind of like similar to it, but
Super Nintendo.
I have to admit, if there was one of these that I'd want, it would be that one though, just because the cover. I mean, you're not going to be playing it if you own one of these. The cover looks awesome.
Yeah, the cover looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it looks like Mario with a gun.
That's what they all look like in the side scrolls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all kind of look the same. The 8-bit look.
True.
The next one was probably my favorite arcade game of all time. I still love playing it now. Bubble Bobble, Water 9.4, seal an A, 1988. Sold for $3,750.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Rabbit. Batman.
Yeah, because there's only one of them in existence. That's sealed.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah,
Jesus,
most people play
Mary
that
and
game.
Joseph. Yeah,
Right,
no, it's
it's
like
probably
these are
really
games
rare.
people play. Damn.
I
I wonder what like Tech Mobile would be.
I spent hundreds of dollars in arcades playing this game. I played it on Super Nintendo, and Bubble Bobble was my favorite emulation game on my Steam Deck that probably is charged now.
Bruce, you made a mistake ever playing that Godzilla game. If that was sealed, oh my God. I have to get it back to you. I have to get it back to him. It's like I don't want to send it in the mail and risk it. So I'm next time I visit,
I loaned Max my Godzilla.
and then I I had a shot to get it for
PS4.
180, and I was like, I'll never own that game now because it's doubled in price.
How much is it selling for now?
385 loose, or not loose, but not sealed.
Just damn, bro.
Yeah, because it was such a bad game. They stopped.
It's not bad. It's just not great. It's fun. I enjoy it.
Did you have any boxed SNES games, Max?
No, that's what I said. That in that era, like the Genesis, Super Nintendo, I had all loose stuff because we were poor.
I think I have 2 of my Genesis games left: Spider-Man and The Last Battle boxed. It's the only ones I still have left. Those are my 2 favorite Genesis games.
Sonic 2.
I only have 1 Master System
Greatest game ever.
Well, I might have 2. I might have a football game. Terminator versus RoboCop.
I had it was like a weird it was called California Games or something like that. It was on the Master System.
Designs? CNC Surf Designs? With the monkey?
Yeah. It had surfing and hacky sack, and like it was a fun game.
Nice.
And
Ultimate Frisbee.
so I saved the best for last.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, Bette Midler? Oh.
What?
Bette
Rosie
Midler.
O'Donnell. Duh.
Bette Midler, the game?
So everyone will remember this game. It was a fun game to play with 2 people, especially twins. You know, double vision, double dragon. It's 9.6, 1988, sold for $11,875.
That's right with what Brian was saying. Everyone played Double Dragon.
Yes.
I didn't know a sealed one exists. Yes.
Super Double Dragon, still one of the best games I've ever played.
Yes, that's my favorite. That and the Advance remake for Game Boy Advance was pretty good.
Oh yeah, dude. That is like old school Super Nintendo living right there. I loved it. Super Street Fighter 2 and Super Double Dragon were the first 2 games I got for that game. Or no, Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, and there was I forgot what game it was. It sold for $100,000. I should have put it on the list, but I was pressed for time. What's it? Bruce for sticking it to Marco. Stop. Star Wars nonsense. But you don't want to watch them play Star Wars games, card games on stream? That's not riveting stuff.
I'm sure they're 100% acolyte tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Wow. And that is the end of the video game section. Max, if you want to step out now.
Oh yeah, thank you. I enjoyed that. I didn't know you were doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
where the VHS? Where the VHS?
That's Monday nights, but since you don't come on, I stopped doing it because the guys really didn't care.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But if you make it a surprise appearance tomorrow night, I will have.
I'll try. You know how I am. Mondays. Oh my goodness. And I deal in customer service. That's all I'm saying about my job. But Mondays, for some reason, it's not Fridays. Mondays. So many Karens on Mondays morning.
I get you.
They've been holding it in. They've been holding it in all weekend.
I know. I mean, I'm not happy to be back at work Monday morning either. But man, do you have to take it sometimes when you're customer service? Okay.
Oh,
so
trust
thank you.
Me, dude. I stare at the customer.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Bruce, Joe, Sticks, Brian. I'll see you next.
Later, buddy.
Good to see you, Max.
I'll call you later.
All right. Thank you.
You're up. All right. Now moving on to Variant Hunter. Look at some rare, hard to find covers of comics. We got He-Man, the Eternity War #1 action figure variant from 2014. Sold for $115 in May. Last time a graded copy sold was in 2023 for $100.94.
It's not a book you see very often.
No.
I was thinking I might have that, but I don't think that's the cover I have.
You have the other one.
I probably have the.
I'll trade you. If you got it graded, I'll trade you my Doctor Who for it.
I don't have anything really graded. Nothing He-Man. That's for sure.
Then we have Dakin, Dark Wolverine, and number 1, the 1 in 75, the Jerkovic from 2010. Sold for $140 raw back in May 21. A 9.8 sold for last time was in 2021 for $381.
People like their Jovic
I
ratios.
do. The Sinister. Whew. I love the way that Sinister he drew it, Sinister there. And Archangel. That is Archangel, right?
Yes. I think
Okay.
so.
Just making sure.
Looks like it. You're right. Arcade looks a little. That bow tie is huge.
He always looks weird.
I mean, it's cracker of a bow tie.
Dakin is trash.
Zach Morris.
I beg to differ. Into the Fire is one of the greatest songs ever.
Then we have Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 60, the Casada sketch, 1 in 200 incentive. Back in 2023, it sold for $750, and then a 9.6 this year sold for $500, and a 9.8 3 months prior sold for $499. Interesting.
That's a good book.
Hard one to find. That's a hard one to get.
I've never seen this cover.
I've seen the colored cover, not the sketch. Which I think might have been the 1 in 100.
Yeah.
So it's got to be a ghost.
Yeah, has to be.
Or close to it.
Then we have Fearless Defenders, issue 4, the 1 in 50 Hans, 2013. Last time it sold raw was in 2018 for 150, and then a 9.8 sold last year in March for 1,025. Haven't been any sales since.
There can't be that many of those. It's a 1 in 50 of Fearless Defenders. Number 4, issue number 4. I love Stephanie Hans as much as the next guy in terms of her work, but it's on a book that probably didn't have that high of a print run to begin with, and I don't know how many stores were ordering 50 copies of Fearless Defenders.
Yeah. People saw the word Defenders. I mean, went.
Won't have to look out for this book down. Probably laying in somebody's dollar bin.
Probably. They did the same thing. Defenders.
Then we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 700, the 1 in 200 Ditko homage from 2012. Last time it sold raw was in June of 2023 for 600. A 9.8 recently sold in April for 750, below the fair market value.
I just got this not too long ago. This one. I only paid 50.
Oh, nice.
Online.
You should get it graded.
I got too many ASMs to get graded. I'm not gonna start now.
Yeah, I mean it's all those ASMs when they hit milestones. There's always so many covers.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised it's held up. I mean, granted, I know it's 1 in 200, but still, there's plenty of 1 in 100s out there that are dirt cheap. Just because it happens to be a higher ratio doesn't necessarily mean it always holds value. But with these, there's normally so many covers that dilutes the value of a ratio, but it's held up pretty good.
Yeah. Then going once, going twice, and sold. I'm gonna have to update this graphic for this part of the show. It's the only part that's still like from the beginning when I started streaming. We have Silver Street Comics number 16 from 1941, a CGC 5.5, cream to off-white pages, sold for $5,760.
Beautiful.
This is Lev Gleason Publications.
Yes. That's a nice looking book.
Yeah, really, really nice.
You have some odd male bondage on the cover, and you have Nazis on the cover. So it's ticking off a few Golden Age boxes in terms of collectability.
Why was that Nazis face green? Why did face green? Or was that from the book? itself.
No. Sometimes they would do that, or they would have the Nazis as monsters sometimes, or some way, stuff like that as well.
Yeah. Then we have Action Comics 242 from 1958, a CGC 3.5, off-white pages, sold for $16.80. First appearance of Brainiac.
Yeah, it's a good book. That is a good true key. Solid villain. Solid villain. I'm not a huge villain spec person all the time, but there are a few villains that, especially with DC, I think, that will always have collectability, especially in the Silver Age. A lot of the Batmans, the good rogues gallery from Batman, and then with Superman, something like Brainiac. It's a good major villain.
Odd Male Bondage. The search for my new game has just ended. I like that. Odd Male Bondage. There we have the Flash 106 from 1959, CGC 7.0, off-white pages, sold for $1,800.
Pied Piper.
This is the first appearance of Gorilla Grodd.
It's also early Silver Age Flash.
Yep.
It's very soon after Showcase.
Then we have Showcase 14 from 1958, 6.0, off-white to white pages, sold for $14.40. This is the fourth appearance of the Silver Age Flash. It's an iconic cover of Flash in the Hourglass.
Yeah, any showcases are good. You can never go wrong price-wise picking up showcase books.
Wow. Doesn't even seem like a lot for a 6.0 in that grade. It seems like it should be more.
That's not Showcase 4, so it's...
Yeah.
And the Flash title is out already, so...
Barry Allen is dog shit. Wally rules.
No, I will agree with you on that.
I agree with you. I do not like Barry Allen. Then we have Amazing Fantasy 15, 1962. Did you see no grade, off-white pages, sold for $6,600? This is a coverless issue. Coverless.
Made a mistake. You could have chopped that book and graded each one of the pages, and you would have made more money.
Yep, I agree with that.
I didn't know you could do that. That's the thing.
You can grade single pages.
Right.
And for books like this, this or Deck 27 or stuff like that, people will pay significant amounts of money for single pages.
Yeah. I was looking to buy one of the pages from this book from there's another story in there about a mummy that comes to life, and I wanted one of those pages, but it went for like $500.
Wow.
Yeah. And like I said, you take like this page, this is the title page, any page where he's Spider-Man on it out of the book, they will sell for a good amount of money. Yeah. And even just the dummy pages that are like, that's not even necessarily anything of relevance on the page. They'll still sell well, especially if the pages are in decent shape and they present well. Yeah. And a lot of people will chop them and put them together as well.
Oh yeah.
Then we have Incredible Hulk number 3 from 1962. CGC 5.0 sold for $1,100. I still feel these Incredible Hulk issues are underpriced. Same thing with Iron Man.
Yeah, I have like, I think it's Iron Man 4 or something like that. I got it pretty dirt cheap.
Yeah, I have. What do I have at CGC? I think I have a Iron Man. I don't have anything left there. I only have 2 books left. What are you talking about, Sticks? I have 2 books left at CGC.
Yeah, today.
I got Iron Man. Oh, I got Iron Man number 3 waiting to be graded, and Teen Titans 25 waited vintage to be It's been already 2.5 weeks, so hopefully Kyle's just went into grading encapsulation, and his was a week before mine, so hopefully mine goes into that this week. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man #1, CGC 1.8 restored, off-white to white pages, sold for $37.20.
I wish I knew what the restoration was on that.
I
can't see.
Small amount of color touch on cover.
That's not unusual. Like again, color touch, like restoration used to be a thing back in Golden Age, Silver Age time. Color touch, any type of basic restoration was considered okay because there was no grading. There's no encapsulation grading and stuff like that, so it was just accepted. But not no more. Yeah. So
I would take a restored Amazing Fantasy, Amazing Spider-Man. I would take a restored because not being restored, these books are way out of people's price ranges. And this did not come out in 19,639. I apologize.
Yeah, and like I said, there's books that they're not going down in value. I mean, you'll have your little swings here and there, but over the long run, your AF-15s, your Amazing Spider-Man 1s, stuff like that, those are major keys. So any grade is better than no grade.
I am not going to win this in a Raz. I wish. I forgot what's up for a Raz right now that I want to win. I haven't been entering them a lot, actually. There's a. Did I win something? No, I thought I won something. There's a Tomb of Dracula #10 up for a Raz now. I bought 6 spots in it, so fingers crossed.
So you'll probably win. Seems to be the pattern.
Yeah, I don't enter in them either because you always win. I've been winning like 2 weeks.
See what you're doing? You're making people choose not to enter because you're going to win. Your percentage of winning is higher than theirs.
I think my percentage of winning is insane, but it's the way the Raz falls. 2 weeks. What was the last one I won? What was it? Silver Surfer. Oh, it's right here.
What, the Silver Surfer?
Yeah, this is the last Raz that I won. With the custom label on it, that. Thank you, whoever got this.
People love their custom labels.
I like my custom labels, but not paying for all the books to have custom labels.
If you see some Doctor Who ones, let me know.
What, a Raz for Doctor Who books?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've never seen anyone Raz a Doctor Who book.
I've never seen anyone sell a Doctor Who book, but that's
the Chameleon Strikes.
Yeah, mine are here. This is the only one I got graded right here.
What's that?
It's that 9.4.
What was that? Can I see?
59.
Oh, Chameleon.
I did pick up a couple hints coming my way. I got the 57. Now I got the 58 and 59. I need a 60.
Nice. How many issues were he featured in? 4?
4. Yeah, 57 through 60.
Nice. And now, FOC.
What's coming up?
FOC.
All right, let's see what hot covers are coming out, what series are coming out, who's getting a reboot. Reboot? Did I say boot?
Das Boot.
We got Batman 150 cover A, Batman 150 the Lewis variant, the Lopez variant,
Who's Lopez?
and the 1 in 50 Cons and Center.
All right.
Those Lopez
like
variants, they're doing a series of those, so that
Yeah.
those are kind of fun.
Yeah, kind of fun. I like the old 60s Bronze Age Batman.
I think these ones are
Yeah.
for like probably like
60s into the 80s.
mostly 80s. They had I don't remember what site had it, but they had like the whole set, laid out so you can see what the Wonder Woman,
nice.
the Aquaman.
Yeah. Superman.
Always lots of Batman covers.
Superman. I like Superman.
I do like the way Harley looks in that cover. This is an absolute power tie-in.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm fine with that, as long as they don't make me buy
Me.
Batman Absolute Power #1. Like
teasing sirens, since we're getting Gotham City sirens again.
I like it.
Made her look like a Twi'lek.
She looks sick and demented. The way I like my Harleys. I don't care what anybody says. That 37 is a masterpiece.
It's a piece of something.
There we go. Poison Ivy 24, the Mayo variant, the 1 in 25 Ivanova incentive, the 1 in 50 Nakayama incentive. Then we have Kneel Before Zod, the Perillo variant.
I like the Nakayama, but her little scarf belt makes a very awkward dangle on that cover. Look at it.
It does.
Looks like an arm.
A third arm. A baby's arm.
Baby arm holding an apple.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. That was for this guy.
Let's just say that knot's in a really strategic place.
Yeah, put it on her hip.
Have you kept up with Kneel Before Zod? I stopped reading it after like the second issue.
I gotta catch up. I'm like 4 issues behind, and I gotta read what is it? These not Super Sons. What is that series called with their sons?
Sinister Sons
Sinister
or whatever
Sons,
it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta read that.
Yeah, they made his son an asshole.
His son is an asshole. Then we have Birds of Prey 11, Acuna variant.
Yay.
The 1 in 25 Ing incentive. I love this. The Hulk Blood Hunt #1, the Saturday morning variant. I believe these don't have connecting covers for these Saturday morning variants. Then we have Scarlet #2, cover A.
That Acuna Birds of Prey cover is awesome.
It is.
I love a good dinosaur cover. I still keep buying. I stopped reading the series, but I still keep buying it, so I still have it.
Thank you, Ferd.
I can't help it. They're good covers.
Then we have Dolly #2, the 1 in 10 Melnikov incentive. The 1 in 25 spoiler Rivera incentive.
Ooh.
Which you never really end up being too much of spoilers because we always end up knowing.
That 1 in 10 might be a spoiler too. Looks like they blackened out whatever face is right there.
Yeah.
If they put Storm Shadow on there, I'm gonna be like, come on, man, that's not a spoiler.
It's not a spoiler. Then we have the 1 in 50 Woo incentive.
I love Angela Woo.
Then we have Galacta #1. Let's go. Cover A.
The only thing I don't like about this is the change in the Galactor. Isn't it? Wasn't it in the previous? It was something with a K. But I think this is his daughter. I think this is supposed to be his daughter. That's supposed to be a girl.
In the
It was something with a K.
In the Japanese one, I don't believe it was a man in the original Japanese language. It was
in the language. It wasn't a man.
No, it was. How can I explain it without offending anyone? It wasn't a man. It wasn't a. It might have been a first non-binary person in anime.
Was the voice actor
Female? Yes.
All right. Because in the American, it's a male. If it's English dub, it's male.
Yes, I know. Battle for the Planets.
Yeah.
I gotta go back and rewatch because I gotta make sure.
Yeah, Burkotzi. That's the but he had a different name. What the heck was it?
Katzen.
Yeah. Well, his name is Burkotzi, but he has a different name. Like I can't think of it. It doesn't even say it on the Wikipedia.
Let's see, because they have stupid. Not Nabu. Where is it? Does anybody know? In the chat? New series. Leader X. Bird Cats.
Yeah.
Master antagonist named Cats. Later will be a shape-shifting mutant acting on. It was a shape-shift. That explains.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zoltar. That's what it was. Zoltar.
Zoltar. It was Zoltar in American.
Yeah, I want to be big.
Yeah,
I want to be Zoltan.
Yeah, Zoltan. That's Zoltan.
I have it. I have it somewhere around here in a box. One of these boxes. Gatchaman is probably one of my favorite animes. Tied with Robotech. Then we have
that answer.
Galacta Rosmo variant. Then the 1 in 10 Miranda incentive.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Chitara, #1, the Lyrics Lee variant. And then we have, that's supposed to have been Chitara, #1, not Asian.
There we go.
So
there's the money cover right there. and that's not ASM 52.
I know. My production assistant is on vacation.
My production assistant's never on vacation because it's me.
Signs of a good host: they don't blame anybody but themselves.
This is what happens when you try to watch YouTube and work on a show. Don't do it.
And do it. Yeah. I have to, when I'm doing my slides and things like that, I have to just do my slides. I can't do anything else. I might have Doctor Who up on the screen, but I'm over here.
Yeah, I'm happy with that Sozamika.
That Sozamika is beautiful.
That's a nice one.
I think it might come in a metal cover too. I might have to think about getting that in the metal if it is metal.
The lyrics is all right. I think her hair looks a little too big for her.
Yeah, it's I love my girl lyrics, but this one
all the way to the top of that T. Like if you zoom in, it's all the way almost to the top of that T, and that's an 80s hair right there. Yeah, if anything.
Then we have Space Ghost #3, the Barons variant, the Cho Limited Virgin variant.
I love the Cho variants for this series. If you're a Space Ghost fan, the Cho variants are all so good in this series.
Then we have
Space Ghost is a good surly son of a bitch too.
Vampirilla, Dark Reflections #2, and a Cleto variant.
Oh, Jay and Slow, his covers are gorgeous.
I like that.
His work is beautiful.
Then we have a cosplay variant I thought was awesome.
I like that. They do a lot of cosplays for that in Red Sonja.
Yeah. Then we have the Mayor Limited Virgin variant.
Mayor did all right. Her work is it's up and down for me, but I do like this a lot.
Then we have Dune #1, second print, 1 in 25 green incentive.
That's my first print just came in this past week, finally.
Nice. Then we have Ghost Spider #1, the second print, 1 in 25 Brooks incentive. I actually like this. I like it a lot.
Well, you can go get the trade dress version on the first print.
True. Then we have Wolverine 88 facsimile, the 1 in 25 yard and incentive.
Come on.
I never liked this cover to begin with, the regular cover.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not a good cover.
Yeah. I'm very much against 1 in 25. Yeah, any ratio for a facsimile. It's not a facsimile. You're not giving me a facsimile. A facsimile means it's the original book reprinted.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a facsimile. This is a different cover. This is a reprint.
They should do more posters with a lot of these covers that are really good. Like Degrassi said, that Doom one could be a poster or a print or something. I would love to own the original art for that.
I'm sure
Yeah,
artists.
good luck.
Artists sometimes have these as prints. An artist will sometimes have these as prints at their table at a con.
True. We're gonna have to see. Hopefully he's at Sanford Green is at Baltimore.
If you're looking and thinking, oh, these books get expensive, so maybe I'll try to buy some original art. Good luck. Original art is expensive. If it's a known quantity, it is expensive. You want some Art Adams original art? Yeah, you're gonna pay in some cases 5 digits for original art.
Then we have Absolute Power #1. Cover A, so Dan Mora wraparound.
If I got to see Amanda Waller on one more damn cover.
Well, get ready.
The Wallerverse.
I know. They're really pushing Waller.
Lee variant, the Bliss variant.
Oh, God, that's awful.
It is bad. Then we have the Puppeteer Lee variant, which I like. What? Then we have the Sam Nee variant. Then
I like Sam Nee's covers. I enjoy his artwork.
I like it a lot. Then we have the Zulo variant.
Oh, we haven't had a Zulo cover for a while.
Mm-hmm. Then we have the Dan Mora design variant, which I really, really love.
That's a decent design variant.
Then we have the Tim's variant. These are connecting covers, I believe. Going to be connecting covers.
The Tim's one?
Yeah.
Not Bruce. No Bruce Tim.
No, not Bruce. Yes, that was Batman. Wolverine cover is hard to make out. It is.
Yeah, that's why the original cover of Wolverine 88 was hard to make out as well.
Yeah.
That was Queen Brainiac, I believe. Then we have X-Men #1. Probably it almost has the most covers. Almost.
Oh, well, if you include retailer exclusives, it definitely probably does.
We got cover A, the Campbell variant.
Hey, you can't go wrong with Campbell and Psylocke.
The Scotty Young variant. The JTC variant, which is beautiful. This is a beautiful cover.
The face is a little.
Hey, just because she might have an Adam's apple doesn't make no.
I normally like Magic covers, and I like the cool black. I like a black negative space cover like that, but that face just kills it for me.
Ooh. McFarlane's doing Justice League Task Force figures. Ooh.
Nice.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's each his own. There's better Magic covers out there.
Here we go. Blank sketch cover for all you people that want to get sketches on your covers.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a logo variant, which
that's the dumbest.
It's so
why would I want the logo variant? I'll just buy the blank variant. It's basically the same thing.
It is. Then we have the Daniel variant. Then we have the Momoko, which I do not mind this Momoko.
I do. See, that's a good magic right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Then
That's a good one.
Then we have the 1 in 25 George Perez incentive.
God, let that poor man rest in
Marvel
peace.
is milking the hell out of his art. DC only does it once in a while. What they did it with Nightwing 100.
Yeah.
And they did it with that what was that? Dark
Dark Justice.
No, not Dark Justice. Dark Crisis.
The last one was a Momoko cover, John. The page prior.
And then we have a 1 in 25 Campbell incentive version of the one we just saw. And then we have the Koblish variant.
These are fun. I like these just because they're fun. They're fun to look at.
This is amazing.
Yeah, they're just a lot of fun. It's just fun to stare at them and look at, because every time you look at it, you'll find something different.
Yeah, I just noticed the X Babies at the bottom left.
You got the good X-Force outfits on the left there.
Yeah,
Wolverine with Cyclops and Jean and Archangel.
Yep. And then you have Nanny up the top middle right. Polaris when she was possessed by crap, what was her name? During Mutant Massacre.
Scarlet Witch?
Huh?
Scarlet Witch?
No. She was possessed by one of the Marauders. I forgot. Goblin Queen got Starfire, Firestar. I love this. All right, then here we go with the most covers of any book this FOC.
Ugh.
TMT #1 is getting, this is our new series.
Yeah.
Cover A, which I like.
It's turtle
cover B.
It's turtle cover.
Cover C.
Oh, turtle cover.
Looks like he's emerging from a wooden vagina.
What?
What? Then cover D. What the hell?
Turtle cover.
I do not like. I like cover A so far.
I could care less about any of them.
It's a turtle without a shell.
Then we got cover E, cover F, cover G, and cover H.
E and H are nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like E. E would have to be my favorite out of that group.
Then there's more. We got 125 Earls, 1 in 50 Robinson,
Mocha there too.
1 in 75 Romeo, and a 1 in 100 Momoko.
I mean, I don't have anything against the turtles. It's just the covers just end up feeling kind of redundant after a while. It's like, wait, how many of those do you're gonna get?
6. Never seen it. Oh my god. Has IDW renewed their Star Trek license? No.
No, I don't think IDW is famous for losing properties.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They'll probably go to Titan.
Well, hopefully.
If it goes to Titan, that would be the best thing. Titan has done exceptionally well. Mad Cave would be good. Mad Cave would be good as well.
There's so many Star Trek books. It's hard to know where to jump in. If they go to another company, I will definitely start reading more Star Trek comics. You know, it can't be as bad as Star Trek comics.
Star Trek comics can't be as bad as Star Trek comics.
I agree with that. That's the first thing he said. I agree with.
Yep.
Star Trek comics can't be as bad as Star Wars comics.
I mean, I refuse to buy any of the Star Trek comics just because some of those covers, when they did the series of dog covers,
horrible.
Those were some of the biggest dog shit covers I've ever seen on comic books.
The ones that were good was the schematic covers of Deep Space Nine and some of the ships. Those were good.
Yeah, and I think there were some Raza covers that were nice, but those dog covers looked like some 6th grader drew it on his Trapper Keeper, and it was like, look, it's Cisco. It's it was awful. It's bad.
So hopefully whoever gets it will just start off, a good single series and reboot it correctly.
Oh, and there's still a few more. We got the 250 Scalera, the 500 Murphy, and the 40th anniversary.
Oh, there's a Murphy 1 in 500. God damn it.
Yep.
I love Murphy. I can buy more Batman Murphy books instead of buying the 1 in 500 TMNT one.
True. And that is it for FOC.
It's a lot of turtles, and that doesn't include the all the retailer incentives. I'm sure that'll be popping out.
There's going to be a ton of those things. Yeah. So I want to thank everyone for. Oh, look, we remember for 3 months, Six has seen early 20th century burlesque shows.
I've seen late 20th century burlesque shows too.
I've seen the 21st century.
So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys go check out Palm Beach Presser on his IG. Great guy, great service. He really cares about your books.
Yeah, he seems to know what he's talking about too.
He was a decent interview. It was nice. Yeah, I mean, a presser. There's only so much you can talk about when it comes to pressing. I mean, it is what it is. You're cleaning books and pressing books, but it's fun to have somebody on talk. I like to just hear about the type of stuff that's coming in, that they're getting. If they're doing volume pressing and they're getting a lot of stuff coming their way, I just like to hear what's coming their way, what eras of books are coming their way. That's
what era? Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
We'll have to get them on when the next big book comes through that has a bunch of defects in it or gets ship damaged. We'll have to reach out to him and get some insight into what he's seeing and how well those books clean up.
Yeah. What was that, Sticks?
How many of these new books are you getting in that just got waylaid? Yeah.
I meant to ask him if he's seen any Godzilla 70th anniversary yet, because it seems like a lot of damages from that book, especially on the corners.
What, did we see the first to market that popped up?
Yeah, there's one up for $7.99 on eBay, and it looks like there's 3 currently graded 9/8
on the census.
Yep.
So, I don't know how fast does anyone know how fast they update their census?
I'll let you know because mine was graded than 9/8. When was it graded at 9/8?
Months ago?
It was graded.
Has it been a month?
It just came out 3 weeks ago, I think.
They received it on the 30th and they shipped it out on the 6th. Oh wow, that was fast. Mine was graded. What day was it graded? Actually, it was graded on 6/4. So, yeah, and there is currently, I doubt mine is counted on the census. So there's currently, where is it?
We'll see if there's any 9/9s that pop up.
We got 3 9/8s on the census so far.
And that's all that came in.
Yeah.
Is it? That's all that's there. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I mean, it's not a high volume book, so it's not like you're going to be like 700 of these are on the census. It's
and there is my copy. What the hell is that? Why it looks like that? You see the bottom left?
That's just the light, I think.
It's the lighting. Yeah.
Scary stuff. Scary stuff.
It has a 9/8 on it.
It's got an amoeba in it. Don't worry about it.
Has the 9/8 on it already. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm trying to see. Whoa! Look at. Never mind. But what's this? Raz, I bet. No, not a Raz. Thanks for whoever keeps gifting me memberships. Six looks like an older professor. Oh God.
Grab me some coconuts. We can get this fixed.
So please, thank you. We'll be back tomorrow night with Monday Madness. We'll talk some movies, movie news, some rumors. We'll probably get 4 or 5 more castings from James Gunn between now and tomorrow.
Yeah. Hot Dog Vendor 3 and
Copy Boy,
Janitor 7. Get all the casting this.
Lois Lane's shoe salesman, something like that. But,
yeah.
So please hit that like button. If you're watching on the rewind, please comment, subscribe, and thank you everyone for hanging out. And have a good night. Take care. See you tomorrow night.